Good Sunday evening, everybody. What's up? Thanks for showing up. To those of you who have showed up in spite of our... What the hell? Look at that. Sorry about that. The open YouTube tab took forever to go live, interestingly enough. So as I was saying, in spite of our very own Nicky B not being able to make it tonight, you still have shown up to support me, and I appreciate that. So thank you all very, very much. Let me jump in to the chat and see who is here. Why not? And see right away. John's Comics with Kids. Not sure if you've come back or not yet, John, but thanks for dropping in a half hour ago. And Mr. Redjack, of course, thank you very much for welcoming everybody. And David Barr, as always, good day to you. #1 Marvel fan, what's up, Tom? Corey, Rust never sleeps, as we all know. TJ, what's up? You never know, but hopefully not TJ. I'm hoping to check out maybe, like, I don't know, at least the last quarter of the Lions game. So we'll see. Maybe we'll cut it at 2 hours. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Vivian, what's up? Long time no see. CJ, evening. Sorry about that. This thing's screwing up. It's going in and out of mute on its own. So hopefully I wasn't on mute for too long. All I was saying was hello to everybody anyway. So yeah, hopefully you didn't miss too much. Thank you, CJ. I appreciate it. But I think, I always knew that this was going to be a down year. Yeah, just because last year's team was full of seniors and juniors. The juniors went off to the NFL, and the seniors, some NFL and some graduated. Yeah, so we're left with only 6 out of 22 starters returning for this year. So a big drop off, is expected. But I appreciate it. Thank you. And who else we got here? Everybody saying hello to each other. There's another one. Peter Rowe, what's up? Good evening to you. And TJ, no, I mean, it's the same, same as what he had mentioned on his show on Friday. So it's very touch and go. Yeah, so he's just not in good spirits. And he did say, though, that he may drop in later just to say hi. But, of course, I told him under the circumstances, he shouldn't feel the need to. And he should just try to relax with Pam. And, yeah, that's it. Have a night off for a change. Let's see. Hey, we got the Rickster. Good evening to you. What's up? What's up? Jason Ladwig. Evening to you, my friend. Jason, still working crazy hours? What's up with you? Crazy new earlier starting hours, I think. What's happening? Good to see you, man. And who else? New artwork in the gold frame? No, that's the same stuff that's been there for years. Lions, yes sir. What's up, Marcus? Good to see you. The Oklahoma Kid, what's up? I don't know if you watched the game. Did you watch the game? I don't know, the Oklahoma game. If you did, what'd you think? Dylan Raiola. Hot freshman, or is he a redshirt freshman? Oh, whatever. Still, first time playing, I guess. Still here. There you go, John. Okay, cool, awesome. Glad to hear it. Good to see you, my friend. Got a full house. Yeah, not bad, not bad, not bad. Let me see. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Exactly. Way to go. Yes, yes, absolutely. Hey, Peter. Good day, everybody. Don't worry, CJ. Last questions, no matter how dumb. Hey, Shaggy Wong. What's up, Shaggy? Good to see you. What's up, Stanley? Stanley, just read the description. Read the description, Stanley. It's right here below your screen. Read the description. It depends. It depends who they're playing, Marcus. It depends who they're playing. I will, as long as it's not against the Lions and New England, I'll probably root for Harbaugh and the Chargers. Yes. Look at Sean's laptop is dead. Sean told me he was going to drop in and hang out with me from the studio. That's okay, Sean. No worries. If you can, you can. If you can't, you can. Like I said, it's a last minute impromptu episode. So I'm not expecting anything. We'll shoot the breeze as we always do, and like I said, don't feel any pressure. Whoever wants to drop in can drop in. You let me know. I'll send you a link. And if you can't, you can't. That's cool. Mark Fong, good Monday morning to you. What's up, sir? And hello to you, Maki Poo Poo. What's up? And hey, Lee. What's up, Lee? Good to see you. And I'm going to do a promo for Lee and for Carl in a minute or two because, they got some new videos. Well, today for Lee and I think yesterday for Carl. So what's up, Kavi? Evening to you, evening. And got to pay the piper for the NCAA violations. Whatever. Got to do what you got to do, I guess. Yeah. Hey, Vivian. Hi, Kavi. Vivian. Hello to everybody back and forth. And what's happening? Tom McDonald. Hello from the hometown of the victorious 1-0 Chicago Bears and that crappy performance from your #1 overall draft pick, I must say. Formerly of University of Southern California. Boy, he stunk up the joint in his first appearance. I got to say, it's early. I'm not one to trash the rookies on their, first appearances or whatever, but it was bad. It was bad. Let's just say that. Yes, sir. And who we got? Kavi and Maki and Sub CJ and Tom from the Bears territory. A lot of hellos back and forth. Less consistent hours. So early starts. Okay, some not so bad. Okay, got you, man. Got you. Oklahoma is in for a rough year, baby. Yeah. What are you going to do, though? That's college football for you. Ups and downs, because but that's what I love about it so much, Dwayne? That's what I love about it. It's the fact that unlike the NFL, you get so much more turnover because it's students, right? Graduating, going off to the NFL, graduate every few years, right? Constant new rookies coming in every year, right? And the ones with the most experienced guys are gone after about 3 or 4 years, and it's just constant turnover, and you got to keep retooling and retooling. That's what I love about it. It's fascinating, And who else do we got here? David saying hello to David. How's it going, Kavi? Everybody, wow. Gotta eat. Refrigerator time to go to Monk's Cafe. Hey, what? Shaggy. Hey, everybody saying hello to everybody. I feel like cereal coffee. Holy crap. You see, Sean and Tom, you see what I mean? This is what I'm saying. This is why on these last minute hangouts or even planned hangouts, it's just whatever, man. Shoot the shit about whatever. Doesn't matter. We don't have to look at art, and I don't have to plan anything like that. So it's a tough situation for Nick. Better take the night off and gather his emotions. Nick is a very stand-up person and will come back in a few weeks. A better frame of mind. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And like I told him, like I always say, this is not important in the grand scheme of things. It's not important, When we're all healthy and everybody's good in life, this does seem important to some degree, right? It's important to us because we love our hobby. So it's important to us, or from that perspective, you know, for sure. But in the great scheme of things, when everything in life is taken into account, including life, health, death, you know, or the potential thereof, suddenly this stuff's not as important, right? So for sure. So what's that, Corey? I never understand what that is. I can't see it. It looks like shake weight. You guys remember shake weight? It looks like shake weight. I don't know what that is. Holding something, or I don't know, or it looks like an open palm with something hiding behind it. It's weird. But anyways, that's great. You cereal lovers, Kavi and John, old mates. Get Jason and Hart on. They're my two old standbys for these impromptu episodes. I know. I got to give them a break. And that's what I'm trying hard to give them a break, especially now Hart, because the Hart's going to be on twice in the next few weeks, you know. So I didn't want to try to have him on tonight. What's up, JC? Good to see you. Yeah, you're telling me. Yeah, thank all of Chicago fandom there, or all of football fandom. Honestly, we'll see how the season goes. You know, you gotta give them time. So I'll jump in for a while if you want company. Hey, that's cool, but we'll step aside if a better or a better looking. Let me send you a link in a minute, okay? Jewish Dragons, what is up? The Southern Cali boy, Ian himself. My team's #1 did okay, but still lost. It happens. What you're gonna do? The beginning of the season, CJ, right? It's a long, well, it's not that long of a season, but you know, we're just at the beginning of it at least, so that kind of makes up for it. We got the entire fall and beginning of winter to enjoy it all. So I'd say that a very rough year ahead with the new old Pac-10 teams joining. You know, Penn State 2 games in a row. It looks like, I don't know. It's funny. I see these guys on television. The talking heads are like, "Oh yeah, Penn State, you know, good stuff." And it's like, what are you talking about? They should have handled the business way easier than they did last week. And then this week again, it was way too close for comfort. Like, what's up with that? They won by a touchdown against the crap, like, you know, like really compared to them, a crap program. Wow. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, so far, they're getting away with it by the skin of their teeth. So it's a very dubious looking 2-0, you know. But yeah, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Second year in a row, my FFQB got injured. Rodgers last year. Oh yeah. What's his face? His replacement in Green Bay injured. I don't know how long for though. More of the Bears O-line that failed the rookie. Well, you know, look, for sure. Alex, what's up? By the way, good to see you. Yeah, it's always, you know, the O-line is super, super important. You know, absolutely. You know, the team in general, it's not very good. Right? It hasn't been good for quite some time, so we know that. So yeah, for sure, we'll see what happens. Family and friends, #1, absolutely, for sure. Wishing Nicky B the best, absolutely. Thank you, David. Oh, is that just the waves? That's a waves? You mean like water waves? That's kind of weird if that's what it is. What shake weight? Can you demonstrate? It's kind of like, you know, when you take a shake weight and you shake it and it's like, you know, you're like this, you know, and you exercise your forearms, I guess, and your biceps.
No, it's like this.
Vivian just came in to tell me how it's done. Oh man. Hope this doesn't turn into a shake weight infomercial. It won't. What's up, Mike, by the way? Good to see you. Sometimes you want to go where everyone knows your YouTube name. Yeah, thanks, Mark. Nice one. Well, you saw it, CJ. You definitely saw it. Out of the loop about Nick. I hope it's not serious. Well, he's okay, Peter. He's okay, but a friend of his suffered a heart attack and he's in very serious condition. yeah, I won't say anything else. I'll let Nick say it if he wants to, if and when and if he drops in tonight. And if he doesn't, I'm sure he'll mention something this coming Friday on his show. The EXP. Marcus, you would be pro shake weight with your hand exercises. Hey, John C., what's up, fellow Canucks? Still at work, so only half paying attention. To work, that is. Nice. I like that. I like that you have your priorities straight, John. Nice, man. Anything to get the exercises in. For sure, yeah, absolutely, exactly. Shake it, don't break it. Let's see. What else do we got here? My gosh, we go. Some good wishes. Oh my God, there he is! Holy crap! Wow, it's because I'm still about 3 minutes behind on the comments. Sorry about that, everyone. I'm trying to catch up quick. Thank you to those of you, the 36 of you who are here tonight. Really appreciate it. Nick is saying to everybody who's not paying attention, you may be listening and not paying attention to the chat. Just wanted to jump in and apologize for not being able to be on the show tonight. And then he says there are 33 community members watching and only 20 likes. And he's right. That means there's 13 of you watching right now that haven't hit the thumbs up button, right? Beneath where I'm pointing, somewhere here. Can you please just do that? I mean, honestly, literally takes like a second or two. Just click it one time. That's it. I'd appreciate it. Please. That's all I ask. If you're watching for the first time, please do not subscribe. Just watch the show. See if you enjoy it. See if you come back. If you come back again in the future, it's only once a week, Sunday nights. If you come back again and you kind of enjoy that and you want to subscribe then please subscribe. But not beforehand, okay? Oh, and thank you to those of you who subscribed this past week. There's a few of you. There's like a handful of you. All of you, I could not see your names due to your privacy settings. So I can't shout you out like I usually do for people whose names I can see. But thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. Thank you. And what else do we got? Yeah, exactly. Continue to support the channel. It's not just supporting the channel. When you do that, you're also supporting the hobby, you know? Helps the hobby grow to see more content online. Good to see you. So thank you, Nicky B. Thank you. And Kenneth, good to see you. Always good to see you, my friend. And yes, hope things look up for Nicky B. What's up, Alberto? Hey, all. Happy Sunday to you, my friend. Happy Sunday. Yes, sir. Hey, Nick. Hi, Nick. My best. Nick Perucci, best wishes and prayers go to your friend and his family, of course. Absolutely. And whoa, that's sick. I hope that was a compliment on my shake weight technique. Well, that's why I get the guns, you know? It's from doing shake weight all those years. Stanley's loving it, apparently. Jason did not love it, unfortunately. Can you clip that for a calf meme? You cannot. I refuse. Do not do that. Thank you, of course. Hi, Nick, no need to apologize. Yeah, exactly. Get some rest, Nick. Get some rest. There you go. Sorry to hear my friend. Yep, exactly. That shake move is going to make such a great gift. Nick, sorry to hear. Hoping for the best. Very much so. Alberto, thank you to everybody. Best wishes. Exactly. Hey, Nick, wishing your best to your friend. And yeah, trying to distract yourself for a little bit, for sure. I get that, you know, for sure. And check it out. I grabbed a different one from her. Always have to do with a friend. That's very true. Check out the new vid later. Like her art, Corey, but I find all the blue pencils distracting in real life. The scans kind of hide the blue pencils. Okay, I wish you and your friend all the best. Thanks for being good thoughts and hopes the next friend. Yes, very much so. The opposite, kind of like the blue. I love blue pencil. Hi, Kenneth. Is this a good time to share root beer float recipes? This is definitely the show to do it in. If you're ever going to do it, this is definitely the type of show to do it, TJ. Just finished my workout right before the show, so I'm enjoying sitting down for a while. Okay, sounds good, man. Sounds good. And 3 fist bumps from Tom. Anyone going to Baltimore Con weekend after next? Let him know. Any controversial topics to debate? Stanley, I don't know. Are there? I certainly don't have any in on hand or in mind. So you'll have to, you'll have to ask your. Hey, you're always good at asking pretty good questions, Stanley. So if there was ever a time to come up with some good questions, this is the show to do it in. Like now, not 2 hours from now. Now, And Lee's still doing 12-ounce curls. You've got a good chicken and waffles recipe? Keep it. We're talking about Maria Wolf. Oh, Corey told me about a cover that might interest me, but she inks over her own. Oh, I see. And you find the blue pencils distracting. Ah, thank you for clearing that up, Alberto. I love it, man. I love seeing the blue lines under the inks, and I also love seeing blue lines, mixed in with the gray pencils when it's uninked pencils. Yeah, but to each their own. I know plenty of people who've told me they don't like to see blue pencil. I love it. I just think it gives it a nice look. Is everyone working out with the shake weight or the Thigh Master? No, I never did Thigh Master. Thumbs up for the shake weight, I say. But yes. So as I was saying earlier, I'm going to give a quick promo, everybody, to Lee. Lee was speaking earlier, and I would like you to check out his video because he did an unboxing. And then it's a pretty long one, about 24 minutes, I think it is. And then here, check it out. I'm putting the link in directly for you guys. He unboxed something that I tried to buy and I missed out. I was told, somebody already got to it. And I only found out now through watching his video who got to it and why I missed out. So he squeezed it in there before me. And yeah, he got my Superman piece. I'm going to tell you right now, it's a Superman piece. But it's gorgeous. In all seriousness, fantastic looking piece. And Alberto, you won't like it because it's pencils only. And not only pencils uninked, but with red pencil as well, which, by the way, not so much of a fan of. I mean, it wouldn't break my decision to buy pieces. I just prefer blue. If you're going to have a pencil other than gray, I prefer the blue. Red, I don't find it so attractive. But yeah, so there you go. How well was the? Oh, sorry. Hey, has anyone in the chat, Ruben himself, tried the comic capsule storage or the stuff from Crafty Comics? Never heard of it, TJ. Maybe somebody else has. How many pieces were in the box that required 24 minutes? Well, no, that's the thing, Alberto. Check it out because he unboxes, but then he does a showcase of other pieces that are already in his collection by the same art team. So it's really cool, especially for me because I really love that art team. They're my favorite contemporary art team, the two guys, the penciler inker. Yeah, so check it out, man. It's worth it. Very, very nice stuff. Just to introduce yourself to the artist if you don't know him already. How well was the art packed? No, he showed a lot of art. That's all. I'm kidding with you, Lee. These things happen. It's he who gets the art first wins, right? That's all, babe. That's it. It's okay. It's all good, man. Hit the link. I put the link in. Some people, they don't want to have the surprise ruined, so I don't want to say it, Peter. But hit that link and just check it out. Yeah, it's pretty cool. The red pencils are pretty evenly distributed, so yeah. No, I know that. It's just that. It's just not as nice in pencil form. To my eye, I much prefer the blue than the red. That's all I'm saying. I should trade Lee something. Look, like I said, I'm kidding. I mean, I would love to have had it, but yeah, I don't chase after stuff anymore. If somebody else gets it, so be it. It's good. It's all good. Yes, exactly. Right. What do you think? Does CGC bend on the cases? Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on that. Because I don't really know why it's happening. I don't know why that the bent well or whatever, is that like a new thing, or is the bent wells always been there? Like that's what I don't understand. It sounds like it's something new in the manufacturing process that has been happening lately. So I don't really have an opinion because I don't really know enough as to what's going on with it. You use shake weight and Five Master at the same time for 25 minutes, then you have a smoke and take a nap. That's why you're in such great shape. Of course, man. You said the words DC Comics. What's wrong with DC Comics, man? Should I buy the sketch card art by Simone Bianchi instead of CGC books? Look, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of Bianchi. Okay. I'm not a fan of his work. But I don't know that you should buy sketch cards either. But if you want to speculate in CGC books, you may want to do that. I don't know. I wouldn't buy any. So, take that with a grain of salt, I suppose, the same game score tonight. Yeah, okay. So, by the way, speaking of scores and games, okay, I want to make this very clear, everybody, to the 3 dozen of you who are watching right now. You guys know I'm all about having fun. I'm all about joking around, fucking around. Okay, you know this, okay? But when it's time to be serious, I can be serious, and I am serious. And in all seriousness, I'm telling you right now, I'm wearing this because I'm rooting on my team that's playing right now. But I intend to watch the game later. But I don't watch games when I know the scores. Okay, once I know the score, I don't want to waste my time watching the game. So I'm telling you right now, I'm asking you, first of all, I'm going to ask you kindly, please, don't talk about football tonight. Don't talk about any score, about this Detroit Lions game going on right now. Don't even mention as a joke. Please keep all talk whatsoever about the game out of the chat, okay? If somebody comes in and ruins it, even with a joke, score or whatever, I'm going to ban you from the chat. I swear to God, I'll kick you out, okay? Because you will have ruined it for me. Even if it's a joke, I won't know it's a joke for sure, right? So do not joke. Well, see, my wife is coming in. She's laughing at me, yes? Yeah. Don't worry. Okay, bye. Sorry about that, everyone. Yeah, live TV. You know how it goes. Yeah, so please, no football talk. Please keep that out of the chat, okay? Thank you. At least for the Lions game. 250 good piece or one. It's whatever you like. It's whatever you like, Adam. By the way, hello, Adam. Good to see you. Yeah, I don't subscribe to the mentality of, when people say the old adage of oh, it's always better to get quality than quantity. I really despise that saying, right? Because it immediately infers that just because it's quantity and lower priced on a per piece basis, that it somehow means it's bad quality, or that it's not good quality or worthy or as worthy of collecting as something that's a lot more expensive, So like I always say, like Comic Art Boston always likes to say, buy what you love, as long as you love it. Just collect for yourself. Don't collect so that you can post pieces in your gallery online in hopes of getting, more likes and comments. Because people do that. Believe it or not, people do that. They're collecting for others. They're not collecting for themselves. They're collecting to get, like I said, back pats from other collectors. It's ridiculous. Buy what you love, whatever it costs. You want to, if the stuff you already like costs $1,000 and you can afford it, buy it. If the stuff you really like only costs $250 and you can afford 4 of them, buy 4 of them. If you can only afford 1, buy 1. If what you love costs $100, buy it. That's it. Bottom line. I think they don't check the plastic before shoving books into the case. Like I said, I have no idea what's going on with that, man. And is that CGC bending helping the scammers open in Twitch? Who knows? Well, cases never cause damage. It's the person shoving the books into the bent cases. But why are they bent? That's the question, you know? Why are they bent in the first place? Doesn't that combo lead to time travel? Not for me. I hate time travel. All right. See you later, Maki. Tell her to enjoy the bath. Say hello to Mika for me if you can, if you're hearing this. That's why I said that as a PSA. There you go. Thank you. Totally agree, Marcus. I'll never be able to send books to be graded. Ruben got his high school principal attitude out of the sports spoiler, out for sports spoilers. You got it, man. You got it. Because I want to watch it. That's the thing. If I wasn't planning on it, it's fine, whatever. Yeah. But I you know, sports, you know, it takes, like, you know, a few hours. You get like a three hours to watch the game. I want to not know anything when I watch it so I can enjoy it as if it's live, you know? So I think Lions are winning on nothing. I'm going to ban you, my friend. I'm going to ban you. Don't tempt me. I know you can get behind not talking about football, Mike, for sure. Don't tempt Marcus. Yeah, well, I just like football. No worries here. I know you do. That's funny. Frank said, nah, I agree. You buy what you love and what you enjoy looking at on a regular basis. I go through my portfolios at least once a week. Good for you, man. You should. And love going through them. Exactly. So you're getting a lot of value out of all your art. That's awesome. That's what I always preach, you know? Los Leones de Detroit, football. That's exactly the best soccer team in America. Time to watch a full game. I could read a graphic novel I'm behind on. That's very true for a non-sports fan. That's how you know, manage your time better, for sure. I had to turn the tennis off today. Got tired of cameraman panning to Tay and Kelsey. The Brisbane Lions won on Saturday night here in Oz. Yay! Aussie! Congrats to the Brisbane Lions. Awesome. That's what I say to people about some things. And the item doesn't do the harm, the person does. Yeah. Football greater than football. Not for me, but everybody's got their favorites. You are a Spaniard, born and raised, so that's different. You know, I'm a Spaniard, but not born. You know. Bought a piece from an artist. Pix didn't show its vellum taped to bristle. Okay. Must be a 70s piece. Is it a 70s piece? Tape is discoloring and paper dirty. Artist offered to a brand new piece done by an artist? Would you accept? Don't want to exploit them. You're not exploiting them, but it's one of those tricky things, Ian, about doing commissions. First of all, clear it up. Let me know if it's a commission. If it was a commission, I mean, artists should know, like, if they're going to use something other than bristle board, they should tell you. But even, again, it's all about full disclosure. So I feel like even if it's an old piece and the scan or photo didn't show that it was vellum taped to a board, they still should have shown it. If you're not happy, if you're really not happy, if it really bothers you, look, you have two choices. Either return or ask if you could return for a refund. Tell them about your displeasure. Or suck it up and learn your lesson. And always ask from now on, hey, what's it drawn on, you know? That's what I would do. Ruben finished his last graphic novel. I would have talked to you about it if I did. The thing is, Marcus, is I have to still work on this because it's from the library and I got to return it in a couple of days. And I've been busy with other things. And the thing is I hate it when I can't read the whole thing from start to finish in one sitting. You know, that's what I really want to do. And what happened was when I first pulled out that last graphic novel, I only got a little bit past the first issue. And then I was pissed because like I said, I don't like that, you know? So I'm just kind of waiting. I'd rather not ruin it for me because that kind of ruins it, reading it in like pieces. So I'm waiting for the perfect moment when I can just go sit down, unbothered for 2 hours and read it straight through. Don't worry. I will let you know, my friend. I will let you know. I always let you know my thoughts about what I've read. good or bad, for better or for worse. So don't worry. Thanks, Tom, for having my back. Or stabbing it. Alberto, you're watching Vuelta a España. Have you had the colonoscopy talk? We haven't. What's up, Jason? What's up, Rich Cirillo? Good to see you, sir. What's happening? Spidey hits the lawn. I don't know what that is. What are you talking about? Well, you love it. I don't know what you love because I'm behind. Southern Comic Geek Nuts. Yeah, I don't like vellum myself. Still have a couple. I would like to have known they were on vellum. Returning is a pain. Yeah, very true. I would get what you can now before the guy spills acid on his hand. To hell him with vellum. Nice. Do you think it's okay to have a published pencil piece inked? Oh boy, I do not, Stanley. I do not. I do not. Yeah. And you know, somebody recently, ran into that issue. Some of you, if you're on Will Gabriel's mailing list, he recently sold a really killer Bagley cover with Venom, Spidey and Venom. Really, really killer. And I remember thinking to myself when I looked at it, I was like, oh, that's an interesting choice of inker. He never gets inked by that guy. And, but I blew it off because I just figured, oh, okay, his usual inkers weren't available and they asked this guy. Only come to find out later through Facebook that somebody had notified Will that was a penciled piece that had not been inked for publication, or not on the pencils anyways, that somebody bought and then just got inked by their choice of inker after it was published. Thankfully, according to Will, the person who bought it from him was still super happy and he kept it because he loves it that much. But a lot of people would not have been happy. I certainly wouldn't have been. So again, you run into those kinds of problems. And this time it turned out okay. But what happens the next time when the current owner decides he wants to sell it? You should never alter artwork that's already published. Bottom line. Looking forward to Mike. Mike Swamp Thing and Poison Ivy series. Oh, it's not a series, Kavi. It's just a one-shot. It's a 40-page one-shot. Sorry to disappoint. But yeah, so it's a 40-page one-shot at the end of October 30th, I believe it's coming out. And then on November 3rd, my friend Jason Hussa, my fellow super hardcore Mike Perkins lover, will be on a show with me on a Sunday night, November 3rd, where we haven't decided yet. I haven't decided. It'll either be a preview show, kind of like preview unboxing sort of thing, just to show you guys pages, or it may be a kind of a partial claim show for maybe half the book, and then do the rest of the book just dropped on my website later that week or something like that. I haven't decided. Not really sure what people would want. So, but yeah, so that's just a one-time, one-shot issue. It wasn't a commission. It was the line art to a painting that is about 20 years old. Okay, sorry to hear that. The vellum looks fine. I was thinking he would be redrawing the background part that goes on to the bristle. Oh, but tell me, Ian, why didn't the image he showed you? Why didn't that show you that it was vellum taped onto a board? Was it a grayscale? Was it a grayscale, non-RGB, non-color scan or photo, or what's the deal with that? Absolutely not. Exactly. Thank you. How about a general discussion regarding art valuation? We can do that if it sometimes seems inconsistent, even with the same artist. Sure, TJ, you're going to have to come up with an example so we can all talk about, though, as I catch up to these last few comments. And then I'm going to send a link to Jason. Rich, I won that Venom cover on. Oh, look at that. So Alex won that Venom cover that I just talked about back in 22, canceled after it found out that it was inked after publication. There you go, guys. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, me too, Kavi. Yeah. No, it's really gorgeous. I mean, it's really beautiful. I have all the art already here in hand, so I've already gone through it like multiple times. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I'm very excited. Huzzah! Yes, exactly. He'll be back. He'll be back. It's always fun to have him here because he's done 2 episodes with me, and otherwise, he has a busy family life on Sundays, and he can never be here. So, yeah. So yeah, I hope you guys see each other in Baltimore too. That'll be fun. And what do you get a Greek JLI? Okay. Then it'll be sold for $6K on Heritage after it was corrected. Okay. You mean the information was corrected? Man, what's up, Matt? I always address valuation. Yeah, it's a great cover for sure. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it really is a fantastic cover, but and that's the thing. People will always do it so they can sell it. Plenty of people will do it just so they can then sell it and try to make some money off of it, And that's what bugs me. There's too many dishonest people in the hobby, and they're going to do that, and they're going to try to get away with it, and they won't reveal that information, to the auction house, right? A lot of them won't. That's the problem. So, that's what I really, really hate about it. And look at that. Carl's collection has stepped into the house. Evening. Hope it was a great weekend for you. And speaking of Carl, everybody, please check out this link. Go to Carl. This is his latest video. And Carl, let me be the first one to congratulate you. Guys, first of all, for 2 things. Carl just hit his subscribers have been ramping up lately, and he just hit 250. So he's getting close to the 50% mark that I'm at right now. So that's really awesome, Carl. So congratulations on that. Okay. And then congratulations, everybody. Congratulate Carl. His latest video that he posted, was it earlier today or yesterday, whatever. It's an unboxing and a review of a giant omnibus. Okay, I'll tell you that it's Superman related. But his video, the last I checked, just before I went live, an hour before I went live, his video is I think he dropped it like 5 hours ago or 7 hours ago or something. The video is already at 1,900 plus views. So the algorithm has exploded that thing and shoved it in front of like a ton of people. I guess the algorithm loves the words Superman or triangle era. I don't know, man, but congratulations, Carl, on having a video that is gonna soon hit 2,000 views. And that's going to help you get even more subscribers. Yeah, so good for you, man. Congratulations. That's really awesome. And let's see. Some people are innocently ignorant. Others are maliciously so. That is so very true, my friend. So very true. It was his to do with what he pleased because he was keeping it forever. Yeah, okay. For instance, pages from an 80s Marvel book that were valued at okay, you missed something there, TJ. Then all of a sudden, pages listed are for 1,000. Okay, hold on. Share Carl's channel, it helps. You've got 5K. Wow, friends on Facebook. Yeah, oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, that's cool, Tom. Yoshi, what's up, buddy? What's up? Good to see you. And Carl's collection is famous for his XXX show. Is he really? Yeah, that one went crazy for sure. My gosh, in just a few hours. That is insane, man. That's cool. It's cool to have that happen. Yeah, that's amazing. Pink triangles. Greetings all. What's up, Dan? Evan. Just got in. Good to see you, Dan. Good evening to you. Sorry, fat fingered the post. The pages were at 200 plus. All of a sudden, there is an unexplained jump. Yeah, I know that, but was the unexplained jump asking prices of $1,000, or did you suddenly start seeing auction results of $1,000? That's the interesting thing. Derek Crab, what's up, Derek? Good to see you. Good evening, my friend. You can do whatever you want with the art purchased. You shouldn't. Doesn't mean you should. Doesn't mean you're going to get your money back. Yeah, and you really shouldn't. You shouldn't. Just because you own it doesn't mean. Again, if it's published, especially, look, and it's finished being drawn. Even if it's unpublished, should you really do it? But definitely when it's published, you shouldn't do it. Kind of worried that all the gained subscribers joined because I reviewed a book, which is something I don't do. I know. That's kind of the danger about that. But at the same time, Carl, I think these people, if they really love seeing your video, they'll probably take a peek at what other videos you have, and that'll let them know that, oh, I see. Okay, so a lot of this is reviewing artwork and stuff, So that's the thing. So hopefully they'll see that. And hey, look, in the end, if they want to unsubscribe, they can unsubscribe. And wrong, Carl Alberto. I'm not. He's confusing you. Nice. Okay. Hey, look at that, everybody. Tom McDonald from Chi-Town just popped in. What's up, Tom?
Hey, everyone.
How's it going, bud?
I saw you struggling a little bit on your own, so I thought I'd check in.
Oh, you saw me struggling, did you? I think I'm holding the fort. That's cool.
You're doing good.
Cool. But I'm happy to have you hang with me. That's cool too, what else we got?
The other browser. Hold on. All right, there I am. So I saw someone in the chat. You guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
They can hear you.
I heard someone mention Baltimore.
You're going, right?
Yeah, I'm going. Yeah. How do we get you on a plane and get you there?
What?
How do we get you there? That's a sit down. That's an intervention discussion we need to have with you, right? How to get you on a plane?
I mean, I know how to get on one. It's just I don't like to get on them. I don't like to get on them, man. Yeah, and it's too long of a drive for me. So yeah.
So you're just gonna stay there?
I mean, like I said on previous, I think a couple of episodes ago, I did mention that I might be willing to get on the plane again soon. But I think
what can we do to help you get on a plane? What can we, as your friend?
No, there's nothing you can do. Like I said, I just want it to be something where if I'm going to go, I want it to be as much worth my while as possible. And if it's going to be for a con, I would really rather it be, in a nice weather part of the year, like heat. And I prefer it to be a place where there's a lot of people and a nice city so I can go out, because I don't want to stay at the con all the time. I don't like to, I don't find it fun to hang out at cons for 3 consecutive days or 4 or 5 or whatever, so I'd rather just go out and see the city and stuff. So that's it.
It sounds like it's going to have to be the perfect storm of conventions to get you to go.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't know, but it could happen. Never say never. Watch the Superman. It was a good one. Yeah, good. Glad you saw that, Ian.
So for those who are going, should we try to have some sort of get together?
Yeah, for you guys going to Baltimore Con, anybody going, listen to what Tom is saying. You guys should have some sort of get together. I mean, just get together. Maybe I'll give each other your contact info. And so you can text each other and meet up at some point, at the show. So you want to be the point man on that, Tom?
Sure. Yeah, you could send out my
Should I get people, because I don't want to do it unless you want me to. I don't want to type in publicly your email or anything, but like,
what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, I don't know, but what do you call it? bots that pick up email.
Well, how about this? Chat. How about ping me on my calf?
Yeah, get him on his calf. It's you can find it under McDonald.
Yeah. And we'll rally around. We'll figure out where we all get together. I got a question for everyone too. That's part of why I wanted to check in. I got this off of Nick's show about 3 weeks ago. And
There you
it's
go.
this kind of, it's a full like cover size. See that?
The other way. Yeah, bring it the other way. There
Yeah,
we
that
go.
way, yeah. So, I mean, it's really nice, Alex Ross. But if I want to frame this, do I cut the rest of the page? And is that screwing with the value? What should I do?
I mean, is it not a comic? It's just a printout? What is
It
that?
looked like looked like a sketch cover size that you
Oh, yeah.
have.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
What do
no.
you do? Fold it. CJ
For-
says fold it. Don't cut it.
You know what? Honestly, for something like that, okay, I always say, don't screw with it, especially since you can fold it. I would fold it on the inside line of the barcode, I guess, right there. Fold it perfectly along there, yeah, because that seems to be the
Rich says not to cut. Okay, that seems the consensus. Don't cut it.
yeah. So I would do that. Why not? And then, the framer, unless it's going to be you you can always add, some double-sided tape or something so that, now it's going to be flopping, right? So you can put some tape so that both pieces, stick together.
Yeah.
So that when it's framed, it's not like suddenly the front cover is not flapping. You know what I mean?
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So CJ wants my social security number and home address. Reminds me of the
Social Security.
yeah. What was that?
Hey, Kav.
Anybody
Evening.
ever see that movie Manhunter? Which was really the first Hannibal Lecter movie. Very good movie, by the way. Anybody ever see that?
The late great Hannibal Lecter. Everybody loves him.
Yes, everybody.
By the way, Rich says he hopes to see you in Baltimore, but Rich, why don't you reach out to him so that you can
do it,
connect, and make sure you connect?
Yeah, let's all get together. Because last time I was in Baltimore, I didn't realize how many people had showed up.
Yeah, a lot of people show up, and then all the collectors are like busy. I got to go to this artist. Oh, I got to go see that dealer. I got to go that artist, right? And you're kind of like whatever. Like nobody. You see somebody you recognize from afar. You're like, oh, look at down by the way there. Tom's there, but like, oh yeah, whatever. I got to stay in this line. I can't miss my, whatever. And then you may not end up meeting. So,
everybody's screen name is not the real name too, so you never know.
That's true too.
Yeah,
exactly.
So the reason I want to get that shadow kind of framed is I rebuilt this. You guys remember this? This was the promo poster from back in the 80s when that shadow was released.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So classic. I had it and I scanned it and I rebuilt it in Photoshop. So it turned out pretty good. Anyway, so that's what I'm looking at.
You want to frame that one?
I want to frame it with Alex Ross. I want to figure out how to frame them together.
Together?
Well, there's both the shadow. Different artists. But...
Oh, yeah. No, I guess so. Yeah, I guess so.
Wasn't the Dynamite series? Wasn't the Dynamite series like connected to the Shadow, the DC Shadow series?
Well, only connected in the sense that when they got the license at one point, Nick, he compiled a trade paperback that reprinted the DC Chaikin stuff.
Yeah, but I thought there was canon between the two. Maybe.
Okay, maybe that I don't know. That I couldn't say. Yeah.
All right.
Vivian still needs to drug Ruben to get him on a plane. Ruben only goes, that's not true that I only go to San Diego. I haven't been to San Diego in 19 years, CJ, but FYI, I did mention a couple of weeks back, I might consider going next year. I'll think about it. And by coincidence, it would be the 20th anniversary of my last appearance there. So I'm thinking maybe I could consider doing that. It's a nice city. So yeah, we'll see. So yeah, Carl, reach out to Tom, reach out to Tom if you're not already, connected with him, with your phone or texting or whatever, No Lions game con. Now the cons in Detroit, they're no good, Marcus. No. I pity the fool. That's nice. Thanks for watching, man. I'll be there. Oh, Southern Comic Geek. So there's another one. So Jason, Southern Comic Geek, get in touch on his calf gallery. Check out Tom McDonald. Look under M for McDonald and reach out. You guys should all get
There's
together.
a Hard Rock Cafe that's close. We could get together there. The hotel gets kind of jammed up. There's a
Peter,
couple other places too.
Peter's saying that sounds like a good idea. So Peter, reach out to him through the gallery. You know what to do. You can't make excuses after.
Yeah, if you just Google Comic Art Fans Tom McDonald, you find my gallery and just hit me up there.
Hey, Hydra. What's up, buddy? Hydra's going to be on with me soon. Him and Matt.
But see, Alberto says if you frame them together, you don't need to worry about cutting or folding. You can have the framer be a creative mountain color piece. That's
What's up,
a good,
Jason?
yeah, that's a good point. Alberto knows his framing techniques. That's good.
If you put Tom's contact info in the chat, the Nigerian prince might finally be able to share his money.
That would be
Exactly. Exactly. What's up, Comic Art Channel? Jason, Kim, what is up, buddy? I hope you're still here to take my 6-minute late hello. Hold it. Yeah, don't cut. Exactly. You agree with me. Exactly. Why is the bottom uneven? Yeah, it's kind of like miscut. I mean, it's not really
It is.
right. It never ended up as a cover or anything. So,
I mean, it could be trimmed to be even if I wanted it to.
what's up,
A
Scott?
little bit.
And the art's what matters. I say fold and frame. Hydra says trim. Yeah, listen, if you ended up telling me you trimmed it, I would not be upset with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll leave it there. Let CGC bend it, says Marcus. Alberto, what? You wouldn't cut or bend it? I'd possibly frame it with a copy of the comic on the left-hand side. Nah,
That's a
then
cool. Well, this is very close to the printed comic. It wasn't exact, but I do like that idea of showing it next to the comic. I think
Really?
that's a cool idea. I do. Yeah.
Okay.
'Cause I thought about having somebody like do a print of it and color it, like paint it, but then it wouldn't be ultra. So that was a fleeting thought.
Okay. Hey, look, everybody. Look at that. Somebody else popped in. Cool. What's up, Shaun?
Hey, I am on there.
You can hear us. I
Can
can
you
hear
hear
you. Cool. Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah, I got my
We're
son's
good.
laptop. I did.
Okay. Yeah. No worries, man. No worries. Rich, Rich says that he's going to reach out to you.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'll put something together. Send me a
Okay,
note,
cool.
And then
And
you can tell two friends and so on and so on.
TJ says attending for years, but missing this year. Okay. Oh, sorry to hear about your lingering health issues, TJ, man. I hope you feel better soon, sooner than later, for sure.
So Shaun's coming in. Maybe the two of us can convince you to get to Baltimore this year. No? Come on, just do it. Just do it.
I appreciate the love you have for me to want to go, Tom. You know, I'll say that. Can't tell you how many times I stood next to collectors at cons, not knowing that they were people I've emailed with over the years. Exactly. That's my point. Exactly, Rich. Well said. Yeah. Peter Rowe, UFO, the Rock Band. Okay, that's from you. And then Ruben, you're very lucky that you live close to cons, whether that is Canada or USA. I have traveled to Canada and Chicago for cons. Wow. And I'm envious of you guys who live so close. I know. Well, listen, you're in Australia. I get it. It's all relative, David. You know, of course. I'm not, believe me, I don't look a gift horse in the mouth. I'm well aware that I have it a lot better than somebody living all the way in Australia, you know. Of course, I'm aware of that. Of course.
Why don't you take a train? You can get
Even worse. Even worse. I'd rather drive at that point. Ugh.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Teleporter? You wait for a teleporter?
What?
You waiting for somebody to come up with a teleporter? You can just teleport.
Nightcrawler me in, Tom. I would be up for that for sure. For sure, man. He says meet up at Jimmy John's. What's Jimmy John's? Sounds like a restaurant.
Sub place? I don't think there's room enough for a sub place for all of us.
What?
Jimmy John's is a sub place. You don't have those up there?
No.
Yeah, it's a submarine place.
Oh, just subs? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And my God, I can't believe it's always, you know, guys, it always happens. It almost like it never fails. Whenever I have an episode that, you know, sort of has a last minute change and I have to sort of just turn it into a hangout episode, they often end up being some of the most fun ones. Even, you know, given, you know, in spite of the fact that they're very impromptu and sort of, we do something unplanned and just kind of hang out and shoot the shit. But also there ends up being a lot more activity, a lot more people watching, and a lot more activity in the chat for some reason. It's really strange, I gotta say, but very well appreciated. So I thank you all, for sure. Hoarders High didn't win that crisis page. Okay, you missed it. Sorry to hear that, Hoarders. It was a nice page for sure. Okay, we've already covered the trimming or not trimming. The Rickster says, hey, Shaun, of course. There we go, buddies. And, and Kavi says, hey, Shaun, too, of course. There we go. Here's an option. Scan the pencil, get it inked by someone you like, and then frame them side by side.
Yeah, no, I know you wouldn't like that, but,
you can't,
no,
you can't ink. Like, you can't ink an Alex Ross sketch. That's ridiculous.
I would say, yeah, you would probably have to go right to painting it or something. You can't really
at that point, you ruined it. It's no longer an Alex Ross sketch.
Well, he's not suggesting you do it on the original, but if you want to make
okay, that's different.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't touch the original.
Oh, okay, that's different. Yeah, that's for sure.
Shaun, hey, how do we convince him to get to Baltimore this year? Any ideas?
I don't see that happening.
Hold on, Peter Rowe emailed you already, just so you know.
All right.
Yeah, Alberto, it's we're gonna Brady Bunch it for sure.
Shaun, are you on mute?
No, he's not.
No, I'm just trying to clear up my computer right now. Because you guys are freezing on me, so I'm just trying to clean it up on my side.
Oh, are we? Oh.
My screen. I don't know if I'm
weird. I get a black box when I see him too.
Oh, really? Yeah, but you had that problem last time, Tom.
That problem
right?
last time. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's your connection though, Shaun, because I'm the guy streaming it, right? So you might. Oh, look at there he goes. I'm the guy streaming the show, so you would think, okay, I could be having the problems, right? But when I get problems with my connection, it tells me.
Yeah, no, it was on my side. It's my son's laptop, so he had a bunch of stuff open, so I was shutting it all down. Now it's fine.
Okay. By the way, Marcus thinks you look like the youngest Brady, Shaun.
Oh, cool. On the male side, I hope.
He says this is a Brady bunch, and so yeah, you're the youngest looking Brady. Tom and I are just old folks, old fogies, I guess, and we'll play the older ones,
Yeah. Nobody in the chat knew who UFO was. That shows you how old I am.
A TV show.
Interesting.
A British TV show, isn't it?
Oh, toilet. Oh, we got somebody new. Okay. Anybody know who Max Sin City Collectibles is?
No.
Max Sin City Collectibles. Let us know if this is your first time here. I believe it is. It's the first time I remember seeing your name. So welcome, first of all. And let us know if you are a original art collector. And yeah, let us know how you found the show or how you found the channel. And raw sketch, you ink a raw sketch, just very expensive. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're right.
Have another artist do a Golden Age character in pencil on the left side, Tom, says Rick.
You do that.
Yeah, but then you're just sort of adding more to the, you're just adding more to your conundrum. You know what I mean?
I know. I'm just going to keep it simple.
Yeah. Peter says Jimmy John's is too pricey. Roll out an oil barrel next to the con and roast sweet potatoes. Nice. Your ideas. You guys are crazy, man. Will Ruben go to Baltimore if we tell him Grummet will be there? I will not. I've seen Tom many times, and I've seen him this year, so I'm good. I've had my fill of Tom for 2024, so that's not going to be enough to get me there. He's going to be at a show, I believe in October or November. He's going to be in Belgium. He's going all the way to Belgium in Europe. And Mike Perkins, I think, might be at that one. And I'm still not going. So there you go. That should tell you what may pull me to a show and what may not,
Ruben's just going to send his body double like Putin.
Yeah, exactly. Supreme Headquarters Alien Defense Organization. Nice. What are some specific pieces you love and would buy if we're available? I know you're trying to get it going, but I don't know. You guys feel free. Feel free if you guys have an answer to Stanley's question. Feel free. If there's anything that you've got in your minds to buy that you're thinking of.
I am coming close to making a decision on a Brian Bolland Camelot 3000 page.
Oh, nice.
I've always wanted. It's one of the last two pieces on my bucket list.
Okay. You know, like it's a dealer who has one. You're trying to work it out.
It's a private seller who has it. And,
okay.
It's just a matter. He's sewing multiple pieces, and I don't know if I want to buy all the pieces to get the one I want or not. I'm trying to figure that one out.
Got you. Maxin City Collectibles chimes back in, says, I was recommended by Matt Kennedy, a frequent co-host and guest of mine, and very soon will be again. Seen a few episodes, the third live show. Okay, sporadic attendance. All right, man. Cool. Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thanks for dropping by again. And
I'm just trying to catch up on the comments.
Yeah, I only got three more. Oh. Ruben would buy an Adam Hughes with no female characters on it. You know, Marcus, just so you know, Marcus, I would, although I admit, I will be the first to tell you, Marcus, that generally speaking, you know, Hughes is one of those artists who I think is supremely amazing with his good girl art, but otherwise, I'm like, yeah, you know, I don't like. Same thing with Frank Cho. Like it's that highly stylized good girl art that those kinds of artists do. It's so good on the female figure that when you see anything else, it's well drawn, but it just doesn't like. It's like, whatever. I can do without it, you know. But I will tell you, I did buy a Hughes JLI page. So that's all I'm saying for now. That's
like how long ago?
Huh?
How long ago did you buy the Hughes JLI?
Like recently. I don't
really?
Talk.
Why? What are you hiding? Why can't you talk about your art?
It's not because it's not even like it's not even in transit yet. Like
you got it off the auction last week. I saw that.
Don't talk to me about nothing. I'm not telling you nothing. Listen. Everybody,
well, that's nice. You know that you're getting out of the house a little bit.
Listen, you may think you know what you're talking about, and you may not. That's all I'm going to say. All right. But it's like when I see people win an auction, right? You just finished the auction, and you go to CAF, and you see the piece you just finished at the auction. Somebody just posted it.
Yeah, they're so excited.
It's like so crazy. I'm like, I just feel like I get so like. Listen, in all likelihood, nothing's going to happen. But I just feel like, aren't you jinxing it? I wouldn't want to jinx it. It just feels like.
I thought you were just being secretive. You just don't want to. You don't want it to get lost in transit.
Yeah, imagine you're all happy. You're showing it off, telling everybody, I got this, and then a week or two later, you have to go on and tell everybody, oh my God, remember guys? Remember that thing I told you about? Oh my God, that thing I bought? Oh my God, it got lost. It got crushed in the mail or whatever. Like it's
It sounds like an issue with somebody who's afraid to get on planes. That's what this sounds like.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's exactly it, man. That's what it is.
We need to get you some help.
Yeah. Minnie, I don't know what Minnie you're talking about, the Marvel fan. Minnie? Oh, you mean the Shadow Minnie? If you're talking about the Chaikin Shadow stuff, I mean that's awesome stuff. That's phenomenal stuff, you know. Can you get a Chaikin Shadow profile drawing, maybe looking to the right, and then frame those together?
I like that idea, actually.
That's not too bad. Yeah.
And Howard will be in Baltimore, so I could ask him.
That's true.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That is very true.
Provided he doesn't swear at me and make me cry and run away.
Well, Corey says that he would love to own, and this is for Stanley's question, he would love to own the Doom 2099 #1 cover. Would that have been also Pat Broderick? Did he start that series?
Yeah, he was the interior artist. Yeah. Yes.
Who?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Pat Broderick. Yep.
Yeah, because I would imagine, Corey, I would imagine that one, there's a good chance that it's like turned like maroon colored, like the ink is probably either faded or turned brownish, reddish, maroonish. If Roderick did it, like I believe he was using those cheap markers at the time. So not sure if you'd still want to buy it if it was looking like that. That's an interesting question to throw back at you, though. Winning answer, I'll ask Howard, and yeah, there you go. Hughes female figures are well rendered. They certainly are. Hey, what's up, Caesar? I have a Hughes Hal Jordan piece. Yeah, nice.
Really,
Like I said,
didn't
it's
see
still
that.
cool. It's still cool, Caesar. I'm just saying, like for published art, if I'm gonna get a Hughes piece, me and most people, I would say most collectors, they want females on it, right? They want some female-centric thing. That's all I'm saying, you know, because that's what he's known for. That's his strongest ability, right? His the way he does good girl art. So, yeah, not that secretive, but really, Alberto. They'll talk about Fight Club exactly. He's a nice Maggie the Cat cover for the second John Sable series. Did he early on in his career? That's funny. I got to check that out. I may know about it, but I may have just forgotten, or maybe I never saw it. So I'll have to check that out, Rick. Maggie the Cat by Hughes. Okay. Yeah, Adam's May's agency was before his good girl craze. Yeah, I mean, when you look back on it, TJ, you can tell it's early, you know, a guy learning his craft. I mean, it's nowhere near as good as he became later, but I still like to look at it. I still enjoy it. I think it's still, especially for that time, was really great. Yeah. Bought a paint on auction limbo. No football talk, no auction talk. That's right. I bought Hughes Captain America art in the past, even though I have good girl art from him as well. I'm not telling you not to. I'm just saying most Hughes fans prefer the women. That's all. You know?
He was drawing something at OAX. He was drawing Thelma and Daphne in the back of the van, like taking their clothes off. It was a pretty stunning Adam Hughes.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody else saw that at OEX. He'd been working on that for like a whole day.
Oh,
I don't know
yeah?
where that went, but it was pretty over the top.
What are we all talking about? Yeah, I'm trying to catch up myself.
Oh, thanks for clearing that up, by the way, Tom. Camelot 3000, Maxi. See, Maxi. 12 issues. It's a Maxi series.
It is.
Remember
Did I say mini series? I meant to say.
Oh no, he had written mini. You know, I want to get a page mini, and so I'm right away. When you say mini, that's just I automatically think 4 issues. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, what? He must have been talking about Shadow. You know,
there were 3 inkers on that series. There was Giordano, Austin, and Patterson. And
oh yeah, that's right.
I tend to favor the Terry Austin pages, and I finally found one that I really like.
Perhaps, Kavi, perhaps. Although I got to tell you, Kavi, I'm actually now finally beginning the process of selling off some of my collection. And yeah, you know, you guys, I've told you guys, I'm, you know, I've been kind of wanting, you know, my initial plan was like, okay, when I hit 50, I think that's when I kind of want to stop collecting. You know, obviously addiction to collecting doesn't allow you to follow through on plans all the time. But now, 4 years later, after that, I've been making some sales slowly but surely, privately, and yeah. So I'm in the process of slowly starting to move off art. So I shouldn't have bought that JLI Hughes page, but since I've never owned one, the thinking behind it was, let me just buy it. Let me buy it, and let me see how I feel when I look at it in person. And if I want to keep it, I'll keep it. And if I decide, yeah, it's really cool, but like I shouldn't have bought this, I can always just put it back on my website for sale again. I mean, it's Hughes, you know. I'm not going to lose money, so yeah. So I shouldn't be buying those types of squirrels. I don't mind buying $500 squirrels that are cheaper, that, you know, every now and then. But I got to do more selling than buying is what I'm trying to do, you know. But I might unbox that one, Kavi. We'll see. The thing is, I'm getting it shipped to a friend. Like I get a lot of my purchases shipped to a friend, to friends in the United States. So, yeah, I got art all over the United States. The continental U.S. is filled with my artwork at different collectors' houses. So, So we'll see. I don't know when I'll get it. Yeah, I'm not in a hurry though. But yeah, so Caesar, Hughes cap, and have a Batman Guy Gardner piece too. Yeah, no women on. And cool. It's whatever. Like I said, it's really cool regardless. Believe me, you should be happy for sure. I was thinking it would be cheaper. What would be cheaper? Sorry, I'm coming to it late, Corey. Sorry, man. You guys, by the way, thank you so much, guys. I mean, it makes it really difficult for me because, like, I'm trying to catch up, but like, wow, you guys are really super. Not only is it busy, there's like 44 watching, which for a canceled episode is amazing. But you guys are amazing with the nonstop chatting, man. So thank you. Even though I apologize that I can't keep up to date. Commission Bagley to do a pencil recreation of that pencil venom. It's in the wrong hands. It'll be in the wrong cover. Yeah, right. Someone should do that. Yeah. Two Hughes cap pieces, but one of them has a wasp figure. There you go. There's the GGA for you. What's everyone's strategies for commissioning an original piece, a sketch cover or other? I mean, are there strategies? It's kind of a bit of a sort of very generic, wide spread question, Yoshi. Can you narrow that down a little bit to sort of explain what you mean in terms of strategy?
Is he talking about Adam Hughes, or is he talking about in general?
In general.
Probably in general.
I
think in general. Let us know, Yoshi. Sorry, I know that was like 5 minutes ago that you asked the question.
So I got a question. I submitted a request on Paul Smith's website.
Yeah.
What would be my first Marvel commission request, and I haven't heard back from him. It's been a week. Does that mean he doesn't want to do it, or he's just back?
No, he's very slow. Very slow.
Paul Smith is slow.
Got about 5-6 pieces.
Did you?
Oh, yeah. And very slow. Yeah. Yeah. He won't do another piece for me. But yeah, he's been one of my favorites. But I got a hold of him through his website also about 4 or 5 years ago, and he was slow then. He's just
I'll be patient.
We're talking about lots of stuff. Sorry, Shaun. I just wanted to let Carlos know. He asked, what are we talking about tonight? It's an emergency replacement show tonight, Carlos. So we're just talking about whatever off the cuff, whatever comes up with our friends in the chat and stuff. So talk about whatever you want, ask whatever questions you want. We got a few questions. I'm going to try to bookmark them so I don't forget. I don't want to forget to go back to them. So I got Yoshi's question bookmarked. So I'm going to keep going through the chat here just to try to do my best to catch up on all the comments and questions. And
I got
watching him. Okay, I was fortunate to get a few Adam Hughes pages off his sketchbook from the early '90s. Yeah. I actually, Mark, I like his pencils back then. I really like his pencil sketches from them. And you can save a lot of money if you like them, because when those come up for auction, they tend to sell for less than his modern day marker and the Copic marker type pieces, And I really like that look of that pencil, just the regular graphite pencil work from the early to mid '90s. So, what else? Green Lantern Hughes is a badass Caesar. Ruben got influenced by Hart. He's a bad influence, isn't he, Marcus? For sure. How many have you sold this year? How many? What you mean, like pieces of art?
Yes.
I mean, probably I can count them on one hand. I mean, okay. So I had that last drop on my website. I sold a few pieces there. And then after that, over the last few weeks, I've only been like reaching out to like people I know who I knew liked a given piece that I have, right? And I just, people who I said in the past, like, yeah, whatever, if I ever sell it, I'll let you know, that kind of thing. So I just been making, I've been moving the type of stuff that only requires either one phone call or one email. Just to make it easier on me, whatever, to save my time or whatever. So that's, but I haven't been doing much, Peter. Ever since my last art drop on my website, I don't know, a handful of pieces maybe I've sold. I'm not in a rush. I'm not like in a rush. So,
I haven't gotten that email about you selling that Dead Man piece to me, the Garcia Lopez Dead Man. Where's that email? That one is like bottom of the list for needs to be sold. Yeah. All right.
Alberto says he's an art mule for some Canadian friends that get their art shipped to me. That is true. Margaret rides the mule. I know that, but I didn't know there was more people riding on that mule here in Canada. So, yeah, go faster, Tom. I know. I sold 12 pieces this year. I can feel it in the force. I don't even think it's that much. Yeah, from my collection, probably not. No. Yoshi, my strategy would be to make sure you research the artist you want to commission. That's a very good piece of advice, Yoshi, for sure. And by research, he means Google not just the artist's name, but Google like things like.
Well, do you want my opinion?
Trouble with.
Yeah, that's Shaun. What's Shaun's opinion?
I've got about 600 of them. So
Yeah.
what I do is if I get a hold of an artist, if I find an artist that's available, I'll go on comics.org and I'll look at all the covers or stories they'd worked on. If it's a penciler, I'll usually type his name in and then covers, and then it gives me thumbnail images of the covers they did in the time period I'm looking for, and then I decide if I want a cover recreation or if I want a commission based on that or something like that. But comics.org has been a great way to find the history of whoever's doing whatever. But you try to get the theme of what they're associated with. Like, you wouldn't try to get an artist to do something they never did before, in my opinion. Sometimes people have favorite characters. They want to see what an artist wants to do with that character. But for me, whatever they're associated with is what I'll keep them involved in. So if I had a Pat Broderick, for instance, when you mentioned Doom 2019, I never read 2019, but I have the comics. I would probably have him either do Captain Marvel or Micronauts. And he did Creature Commandos. And I try to keep on those subject matters. Adam Hughes, I don't have any Adam Hughes. Paul Smith, of course, I'd keep with the X-Men. And whoever else Frank Cho. By the way, there's a Frank Cho. I'm not a fan of Frank Cho. I know it's hard to believe. The kneecaps on the females, I just can't get past them. Every time I see the kneecaps he draws on these females, I'm like, what the hell? So sometimes he'll draw them knees on up to try to avoid it. I think he understands or puts them on, thigh high boots or something. But it just bothers me. So some artists, I have issues like that.
Steve.
So
that's commissions right there, in my opinion.
So Yoshi says, I learned to commission artists on my own. Learned the hard way what works for me. Wish I found your channel sooner. What advice would you give to someone wanting to get the biggest bang for your buck? Okay, you take that one again, Shaun.
I missed some of that. We give someone wanting to get the biggest. Oh, well, I just mentioned you try to get them with the associated character that they're most famous for. Like you wouldn't have John Byrne doing Raiders of the Lost Ark. You'd have him do X-Men, because the value's there. If you have if you're a fan of Raiders of the Lost Ark, then you'd have him draw Raiders of the Lost Ark, but the money's not going to be there down the road. You want to have them associated with the characters that everybody recalls. Frank Miller's Daredevil, Walt Simonson's Thor, those types of characters that they're most associated with. Not for instance, if Walt Simonson was available to do a commission for me, I would have a Thor. I wouldn't have a Manhunter. I wouldn't have, anything else that he's drawn. Hopefully that answers that question.
Hey, Shaun, Rick points out that Mike Grell does great kneecaps. Just an FYI, in case you missed it. So maybe you could take your Frank Cho's over to Mike Grell and have him do the kneecaps.
Yes. I actually, Mike Grell gave me a drawing lesson once on how he draws the legs of his characters. And he did it we were eating lunch one time. He drew it on a napkin that I saved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see that. You got to post that napkin now.
Yeah, I should. I got to find it first.
That's funny. Yeah, he's a good guy, Mike Grell. Funny.
Yes. Yeah, quite the character.
And JC was asking us, once I stop collecting, am I going to have to change my handle to Ruben the Former Collector? And I told him, I might just do that when the time comes, I might just do that. There you go. But so Yoshi, let us know if that answered your question. If that was, and if not, I mean, sure. Follow up with more specific stuff.
What I meant by Raiders of the Lost Ark is the Indiana Jones. John Byrne did Indiana Jones, not Raiders of the Lost Ark. It was a spinoff.
Okay. And Dan says that you have a kneecap fetish. That's a new one.
And there's nothing wrong with that, Shaun. It's okay.
Yes. For commissions, one needs patience. It is a viru that is required. Yes, that's very, very true.
Is it a viru or a virtue?
Oh, no. It's definitely a viru.
Is it?
Patience is definitely a viru.
Okay.
And
all right.
As us longer-term collectors know, patience is a viru, and Jerry knows that best of all. Jerry, if you're out there, hopefully the joking about that, hopefully enough time has passed that it doesn't hurt so much anymore. It's an inside joke.
I guess.
Inside joke, Tom, about a guy who got screwed on a commission by an artist in the worst possible way.
Wow. We ought to have a show just on that.
I got to have a show just on that?
Yeah, that'd be an awesome show.
Well, hey, Jason Ladwig, the man himself. What's up?
Hello. How's everybody?
We're good, man. Just chilling, hanging out,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I might have to step out for a second. My dog needs to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna make room for Jason, so I'm gonna bail out. Hi, Jason. Bye.
Hey, Tom, hang on.
Out.
Tom, hang on for 1 second while I do a quick bathroom break for my dog. Don't go anywhere.
Bye, guys.
Can you hold on, Tom, for a minute?
I can, sure.
Okay, cool. Hey, what happened? So much for that. Yoshi says good advice, Sean.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's good. Grell draws nice kneecaps.
Yeah, I heard that.
Does he draw them as nicely as Fred Hembeck, though? Nobody draws nice kneecaps.
The little squiggle things.
That's funny. And there you go, Mike. Does Cho do kneecaps like Hembeck? Yeah, there. See, Rick. Oh, there you go. Okay, Rick already had followed up with that as well. That's funny. And what else? Peter says Frank Cho wants to kneecap Shaun for his slander.
It's an opinion. It's an opinion.
And Stanley has decent. I think we could say that's a good piece of advice for like Yoshi and people like in Yoshi's situation, right? I mean, when you want to get bang for your buck, commission more unknown artists. Commission the artists who are lesser known, let's say, because they typically charge cheaper rates. Hopefully you have a good eye to distinguish between good and bad, because frankly, a lot of these complete no-name artists at conventions are pretty bad, and I wouldn't recommend paying them anything for a sketch. But if you can tell, whatever. Ultimately, it's whatever. If it looks good to your eye, that's ultimately what matters. And if it does, and you think it's cheap, that's good advice. Thank you, Stanley. That's good advice. And I need Jim Ballard Catwoman or Witch of the Black Rose. Yeah, his Catwoman pages, boy, I can't believe how expensive that stuff goes for. I keep seeing them on auctions, and it's like, wow, like it's shocking. I'm just like, I don't know. I just didn't figure anybody cared anymore for that bad girl art from the 90s, But people still love it, I guess. Then again, that Witchblade, is it not Witchblade? What's that? What's that other one, Sean? Not Witchblade. What's that other one? This big white-haired chick from not Marvel or DC.
Who are we talking about?
Not Witchblade, but one of those women characters from the 90s. And I think she had like a sword with a black costume, white hair, really big white hair, long hair.
Miss Mystic?
Nah. She had her own title. Steven, the creator and artist, I think his first name is Steven. I'm forgetting the last name.
Not familiar with. Lady Death. Lady Death. He said it right there.
Lady Death. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Lady Death. Yeah.
I didn't. I read it. Someone posted it.
Yeah. No. I know. And so that same thing, like Lady Death art. Like I would never have thought like anybody would care about that stuff. You know, I get Marvel, DC, and some independent 90s stuff, but I would never have thought that any of that bad girl stuff like would have been. Okay, let me rephrase. Of course, people who were kind of young at the time when it was coming out, now they're in their 40s or older. I get that. Okay, they'd be caught up in the nostalgia and they would want or have interest in buying stuff like Lady Death, right? I'm just shocked that people would want to buy it up like it's like X-Men art or whatever. Like they pay a lot of money for that stuff. Those covers, like a lot. I've seen covers go at auction for like $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $10,000.
Well,
like,
Stephen Hughes died like 20 years ago, the artist.
Okay,
So that's probably why they know there's not going to be any more out by him. That's my opinion. You know, he had his own style, obviously, and I actually have a couple of pages myself. He actually lived in our area, so I used to see shows in the 90s. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Stephen Hughes.
I have a question for Shaun.
Yeah.
And I apologize if it's a repeat since I was gone.
No. Okay.
Shaun, when you set up a commission, do you establish with the artist? Yeah. Do you establish with the artist?
Way to cut him off. We've been censored.
What's that?
What?
I didn't hear a word you said.
Oh, you can't hear me. Uh-oh.
Oh, no. You froze on me. I don't know if it was just for me or if everybody saw it.
That's just for you, Shaun. That's just happening.
You froze on me right before you said your question. So go ahead.
Okay. So here we go. So when you get a commission, do you set up with the artist? Do you establish a time frame in which they're going to turn it around?
Well, I've had commissions from about over 50 artists, and they're all different. And some of them want, and I think I mentioned this before, some of them want money up front. Most of them want money up front. Mm-hmm. Some after a while, if you get a repertoire with them, they'll do it on completion. But most of the time frames are all over the board. There's still one. Walt Simonson has owed me a piece now for 4 years, and I paid him up front. So I've been waiting. So it depends on the artist and how busy they are. But if you try to get someone who's not really working right now, it's usually a lot quicker because they want to get another one from you. It's better to get yours done and get another one down the road. So that's what I haven't gotten a lot of commissions in the last year, but before that, that's the way it used to go. Like Jim Starlin's turnaround time would be like, I don't know, 4 to 6 weeks. Paul Gulacy, same thing. Pat Broderick's really quick. He's like a month.
What do you do when the artist is outside of your time frame of what you're willing to wait? Do you just
you send a reminder, just saying ask for me right now on Power Pack, and it's been about 3-4 months. And so I sent her an email just yesterday, in fact, asking how it's coming along. And she says all the pencils are done. She'll send you some type of progress within. Sometimes they'll send you a pencil piece saying, yeah, it still needs to be inked and we're almost there. And I like to see the process too. I don't just like to see the finished product when it's all done, because in the pencil process, you're like, oh, wait a minute, I didn't expect that character to look like that. Can you change one item? So sometimes seeing the progress of a piece helps you and the artist from being disappointed down the road.
Sure.
But he's pointing at somebody else. But yes, you have somebody in mind?
No, I was just I have a friend. I haven't done too many commissions, and I've mostly been pretty successful with him. But I have a friend who, it doesn't matter who he gets, he just has no luck. They ghost him for a while. It's been years or months at least. You know, it goes on, and he kind of tries to reach out and do what you're saying, like just kind of touch base. Hey, you know, how's it going? But at what point do you start saying, okay, send my money back, or, you know, forget it, I'm out, kind of a thing?
I was that way. If you don't mind ruining, you know, if other people have gotten work done by that person and they're telling you, yeah, it's just a long process, but you'll get your piece,
right?
Then you stick it out. But if you hear people other complaining that they don't have their pieces either, that's when you start to say, you know, I want my money back. That happened with Michael Golden. Michael Golden, when he was starting to do commissions in 2004, 2005, he took forever. And he finally gave me my piece after I'd asked for my money back. But I don't know how he is now, but this is 15, 20 years ago. And
Sure.
he used to be very slow back then. And he's still doing commissions, so my guess is he's sped it up a little.
Right.
Otherwise, you wouldn't get anybody.
Right.
I'm more trying to convince people to do commissions because they're usually too busy to even do them. Those are the type of artists I've been approaching and trying to convince them into trying to work with me on them.
Mm-hmm.
But you also, it helps if you can describe your piece. Like if you ask for a certain criteria, I want my character fighting this character. Like I'd have Jim Starlin and Thanos and the Avengers on one platform, and I'd actually tell him I'd like to see Captain America knocked out on the ground. I'd like to see the Blood Brothers fighting such and such, and telling him stuff, being specific like that helps the artist come up with the design. Also, sometimes they'll just sit there and think, "Oh, I've drawn this." You'll see like Mike Grell, he's drawn the same characters in the same poses with different, you can see Green Lantern drawn the same way as Warlord,
Right.
because it's repetitious. So if you give them an idea of what you're looking for, it'll help them out also, and you won't be so disappointed. Rarely am I disappointed, but I'm always surprised it comes out different than what I'm imagining in my head.
Sure.
Usually for the positive.
That's cool.
Lee just said that he has a friend who has been waiting for a paid-for Jim Lee commission for 20 years.
That's
The thing is, Lee, and I've said this before, when you have paid an artist 20 years ago, 10 years ago, like, listen, forget the number. As long as you're measuring it in years ago, okay, the bottom line is, look, that artist, it's not like it's on his mind. He's not thinking about it. He doesn't care. And the only chance you ever stand of maybe ever getting it back is if you harass the artist. Because as long as you let time go and say, "Oh, I'm patient, I can wait," they're going to continue to never think about you ever again. They don't care. So that's all I got to say about that. So that guy, Lee, just FYI, that guy, if he's not trying to harass Jim Lee, he's never going to see that. So when you say waiting for 20 years, waiting is kind of like not really the correct word. He shouldn't be waiting anymore because he should just expect it's never going to, that thing is never going to just suddenly show up out of the, what do you think? Like Jim Lee sitting there at home thinking, what have I got to do today now that I've woken up? Okay, what's the first thing on my schedule? Oh, I don't know. Why don't I go back into my little black book and see what collectors from 20 years ago that paid me and never got their sketches, should I start working on their commissions finally and sending? Like, it's not happening. It's just not, they have no information on you. They don't remember you, whatever. Like, it's not happening, man. It's not happening.
I've got a story if you don't mind.
Yeah,
So,
go ahead.
Matt Haley, Matt Haley, the artist.
Matt Haley, yeah. Nice guy.
So yeah, he was at a show in like 2006 here in Seattle, and I paid. Sometimes they'll open up a commission list at the beginning of a show, and you want to get on a list. You give them money up front. You put your name on a list, and you come back and get your draw. I came back, an hour before the show closed, so he was gone. So this was 2006, 2007. I paid him like $100 for a Catwoman drawing. Never reached out to me. Nothing. And then I joined Facebook, and then I saw him on Facebook in 2018. I just was looking this up. I reached out to him again. He says, and I took a picture of him, by the way, while I was at the show to remind myself who I just paid. Sometimes I'll do that. And so in 2018, he says he remembered it. I'll get right on it. Which is 2024 now? So 6 years later, I still don't have it, by the way. So what's that? 18 years now for $100?
Wow.
Yeah. So there's my story. Yeah, if you're going to pay for a commission at a show, try to get there and check on them and make sure they don't leave.
Yeah, right.
Carlos says he should be giving up at the 20-year mark. I think you should give up before then. But Marcus said that John Higashi has a deal with Jim Lee that if he owes him a sketch and he doesn't put it, give it to him, every time they see each other at the same show, he owes them a new sketch. But listen, the thing about that, Marcus, is if he can't even get to the first sketch that he paid for, when is he going to get those other free sketches, that he owes them? Yeah, so I don't know if that's such a great deal, really. How do you get back, like, how do you get some payment back from an artist, right, who doesn't give you the sketch you paid for? Agree to take more free sketches the next time you see them? Like, you're just going to have this invisible list of non-existent sketches that he never did for you, right?
Well, sometimes they'll feel guilty. Like Marie Severin never got to the cat. She was doing a cat piece for me in the 1990s, and she sent me back, like, after 3 months, $200, the money I gave her, because she was feeling bad that she wasn't going to be able to get to it because she was moving and all that. So she didn't even ask me. She just mailed me a check. Same thing with Bob Lovers. These are Golden Age artists.
Okay.
It's the only two times I got money back when I didn't ask for it. They just didn't have the time to do it.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
I didn't know that.
The guy that the friend that Lee's talking about is the same guy that Marcus is talking about, who has that deal with Jim Lee. Okay, it's John Higashi. Okay, that's funny. Alex says, I put in a Ron Friends commission request that took well over a year. That's interesting.
Well, yeah, he's very busy now.
Oh, okay, but you were on the waiting list. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And paid when my name came up. Yeah, that's okay. I could feel, if, like, I'm not a commission collector, but if I were, I would feel like completely fine as long as I didn't if I wasn't expected to pay in advance, right? And the artist,
like, he's repped by Catskills, and Catskills is always does that. Yeah. It's not just for that artist; it's all of them. Yeah, Scott,
Scott Press, yeah. But not everybody does that. So that's what I'm saying. Most people still want the money in advance, and I do understand that too. But from the collector standpoint, yeah, I would not be sweating it or even thinking about it if a year passed or 2 years passed or whatever, and somebody whose list I'm on, they still haven't contacted me. Like, I don't care. Like, I haven't given you money, no problem, whatever. If you never call me again, I don't care. I'm not going to sweat over it because you don't have my money. You know what I mean? It's different when they have your money. It's a completely different ballgame when they have your money. Let's be honest, right?
Right.
Well, sometimes they'll take half down. You can convince them to take half.
Some do that. That's another thing. Some of them do. Exactly. You want your second half. Well, give me the, exactly. Send me the money, and okay, I here prove, right? You prove it, right? Like, yeah, here's a scan of the finished piece, right? So, okay, you send me your money now. So that's pretty good too, But then again, there's also artists who are so lazy that they still don't ship the commission to the person because they feel like they're far from a post office, and they say, I don't have a car, and they come up with all kinds of crazy what?
I've heard them all.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't be surprised by anything I hear now.
Yeah, exactly. Once you've done it enough times as you have, yeah, for sure, you must have heard it all, for sure.
So is there like a Yelp for commissions? Can you go on and leave
You know what?
This is it right here.
No. Interestingly enough, there is. There are different places. There's a Facebook group for people who talk about their commission experiences with different artists. You're going to have to look around for that because I don't know what it's called. There's a website that Terry Maltos. Does anybody know, Marcus? Do you know if Terry Maltos still reps? Now I'm blanking on the artist's name. Adi Granov. Does he still rep Adi Granov? Because Terry Maltos used to also have a site for that, Jason. He built a site just for people to talk about, hey, this guy owes me this. I paid him this much at this time. He still hasn't come through, for that kind of. So to make people beware, basically,
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. So, Higashi's really screwed by another artist for a long time. Well, but who isn't in that commission collecting sphere, right? That shit is crazy. Fans are faithful and forgiving. That's true. Very true. But in this case, in this hobby, Mark, customers are the fans. That's the problem. So they revere the artist too much, and that's when you get into problems. It allows the artist to treat them like dirt, you know? Has gotten a sketch at each show, and they are worth multiples of the original commission price. Hey, listen, if Higashi keeps getting them, if he actually gets them, hey, more power to him for sure. Absolutely. So Max Sin City Collectibles says, I had a deal that my commission would be finished off-site. The artist misplaced the items when they moved to their new home. I've heard that before. I reached out to them when they were coming to a local con, and then they brought it 3 years later and got a free remark on a book. You should have gotten a free friggin' cover quality thing for that. That's how I feel about it. But hey, I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules, man. But yeah, man. Yeah, there's stories up the wazoo, man, with the commission collecting. And like I say, I've said it before, I could probably do a weekly show about commission collecting, you know? And by the way, Max Sin City Collectibles, you might want to check out, go to the tab at the top of my page here on YouTube. Go later after the show, go to the playlist tab and look for the playlist called Roundtable. So that's a series that I do where 3 other collectors and I, usually 3, we'll talk about a given topic. And I did an episode. It's easy. It'll be easy to find it inside the playlist because I've only done 9 episodes of that series so far, and it's one of the earlier ones. And it was all about commission collecting. So I think you'd really dig watching that show. It was really fun to do, and yeah, I even watched it on Rewind, and it was even as a viewer, it was fun to view, even though I was on it and I had to listen to myself, you know. But yeah, some good info with some good commission collectors on that show, so worth checking out. That's for John to reveal, for sure. I paid for a commission, was patient about it, then the artist died. Oh my God, Carlos! Wow, that happens though, right? That certainly happens.
That happened to me. Yeah, Rich Buckler.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And Alan Coverberg.
Oh, both of them. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, both were working. In fact, thankfully, Rich Buckley had already finished 90% of the drawing, but he hadn't signed them. So I had to have his widow, not right away. I think it was 6 months after he passed away. She signed the back of them to prove that they were done by Rich, and then mailed them to me. Alan Coverberg never did do what I was expecting, but you take that chance.
Mm-hmm. That's a shame, but you look. That's
what artist did that person? What other artist died during that commission?
No, that's Rich talking about a friend getting a Lee Weeks commission 12 years later. Yeah. And of course, his prices are a lot higher now for that same quality that he got. Of course they are, but that's it. I mean, that's what he paid for back then. That's it. It's Lee's fault for. Right, Lee Weeks' fault for taking 12 years. So, yeah, for sure. Hobby needs an artist whisperer that can help collectors deal with artists. It's very difficult to deal with them, a lot of them. That's the problem, Stanley. Nobody wants to be involved with that. I get you, Marcus. I'm the same way. You can say it's a Star Wars artist. John Higashi certainly is a Star Wars artist. And I don't know. That's not kind of a good idea. I think Granov's wife does. Oh, Granov's wife does it now? Okay. Okay. Rep by Trinity Comics? I've never even heard of that. Wow. Okay. So many reps I've never heard of. Yeah. I mean, look, even on Carl from Carl's Collection, on last week's video, he unboxed something, and he said, "Oh yeah, I got this from I think it was called Bedrock City. I don't know, Bedrock or something like that." I was like, who? Apparently it's some art rep. I was just like, okay. Like, there's so many, right? Because every fanboy and his grandmother wants to get in and be friends with the artist these days. So everybody wants to be a rep so they can pal around with the artist. So there's like they're coming out the wazoo, you know? I had
Did
one
you
artist
ever
tell
rep
me
anybody?
commission because he was getting evicted. I did a chargeback on PayPal and got refunded. Nice, man. Nice. Because if he's in the middle of getting evicted, he's not going to take any time to sit down and do your sketch. That's for sure, Rich. Sorry, Shaun. What did you say? I didn't catch that.
Had you repped anybody yourself? Either one of you?
Other
Jason?
than
No.
other than Mike Perkins, I started with Kerry Gamble like back in 2000, 2001, but lasted 6 to 8, 9 months or something, because the truth was, and he told me from the beginning, he didn't have almost any art left to sell, so he gave me very little to sell, and so that kind of just petered out. So that was the first one. And then I did Mike Perkins in 2005, along with Andrew Hennessy, who was doing a lot of the inking for him at CrossGen for the previous, few years leading up to that. Then I was doing it with Andy Brazzi, who was known for, I guess, his Hulk covers. He did a series of kick-ass Hulk covers in around 2006 or 7, something like that. But he never did any work, so he burnt bridges all over the industry and is unhireable because he just wouldn't meet his deadlines. And then Mel Ruby, when he was doing Red Sonja for Dynamite, when they got the license at the beginning, so did that, and I think that's it. But I learned what I learned is like, wow, you deal with a lot of people, and holy crap, I'm so thankful for guys like Drew and Mike, especially Mike Perkins. Like, when you deal with a person who's professional in every sense of the word, never an issue with him in 20 years. Oh my God, it makes me not want to have to deal with any other artist ever again. Like, it's just, you get spoiled. Boy, they're a lot of work dealing with artists. That's why I'm thankfully I'm not a fanboy. That's the thing. When I see so many of these fanboys trying to get into like representation just because they want to be buddies with the artist, I think, oh my God, but all that, they're going to have to go through all the nightmare that they have to go through, deal with a lot of these personalities. It's like a real pain in the ass to make almost no money. Like, it's just,
Did you ask them, or did they ask you to be their rep?
I asked them, like, for the first 3 or 4 guys, it was more kind of like I'm reaching out because I'm buying or wanting to buy stuff for my collection, right? And then because I was already buying and selling art as a dealer at the time, anyways, I was full-time dealing art, in fact. So because I was already doing it, I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe, as I reached out to look for stuff for my collection, I was like, well, maybe I should just ask him. He seems, very scatterbrained or whatever. Like he's having trouble dealing with requests for artwork. Like with Kerry Gamble, I was like, maybe I'll just ask him if he needs help. Like, because he needs help. I could tell he kind of needs help, even though he didn't have a lot of art. So I was like, look, I can help you if you want, whatever. And the same thing with Mike and Andrew Hennessy. And so mostly for me, it was like, I could tell, like, they're busy. They're constantly busy. And it's like, well, you guys are perfect for you guys are the exact type of artists who need help, need a representation or whatever, But like I said, then a few guys were kind of, most of them were okay, but 1 or 2 were, whatever. And then it's like, okay, I don't want to do this.
I mentioned to you before, I repped Paul Galassi, Val Merrick, Ladwig, and Mike Grell. So 4. There might be someone I'm missing, but they all asked me, and this was 20 years ago. Also, same time period as you just mentioned, about the early 2000s. They were looking for ways to get rid of artwork and do commission stuff, and I only did it for 2 years, and like you, I was burned out, especially the requests. Some people would be like, "Can you have the Warlord holding up my wife, and here's a photo of my wife?" Oh, good God, or I'd like to see this person naked, and I'm like, no, I don't think I want to do that. And so it was some weird requests, But then when Mike Grell lived really close, and he and I would meet once a month, and he'd bring stacks of stuff. He was drawing Iron Man at the time, and he'd bring the whole story, try to sell it for him.
Yeah.
And I don't know what you charge, but I only charged 10%, which is very little. So it was like a lot of work. Like you, I was just trying to help him out.
Yeah.
And same thing with Paul Galassi. And then what happened was I started on my own business and got married, and that was my justification for getting away from it. But I was looking for a way to get out of it. Ladwig was easy because he was so slow. He would only do a couple of commissions, so it was pretty easy to handle him. Val Merrick would pump him out. Paul Galassi would, and so would Mike Grell. So that was my one time, and I'll never do it again. But I understand where you came from. You're just trying to help the artists out.
I mean, that's basically it. But at the same time, my time is valuable. So, like you say, you're trying to be nice and whatever, 10%, and then you realize like, but then when you're taking credit card payments or whatever, and then like I was losing. I was paying that out of my 10% or whatever.
Me too.
Right, exactly, right. And you're literally, and again, to me, that's just the slap in the face. Even if you weren't losing those fees, it's nothing. It's nothing for all the work that needs to be done. It's not enough. It's just nothing. And that's why, not mentioning any names, but there's people apparently offering, because they're so desperate to get into the game, I'll do it for 5%. Like, what? Oh God, yeah. So it just, whatever. Don't bother me, But then you see a lot of artists jumping around from rep to rep sometimes, and that's because all they think about is the money. Oh yeah, you'll do it for cheaper. Okay, I'll go with you now. And then it's like, okay, and then they realize, okay, that guy's service sucks, and oh shit, I got to move now. I got to go back to this guy. Are you also going to charge only 5%? Like whatever. You're working for free, even at 10%. It's basically working for free. So
what I do now to help the artist, if I find an artist that wants some work, is that I'll just hook them up with people. I'll get out of the way and just let them deal direct. So I don't
I totally get that, man. Artist bullpen. A lot of the new reps seem to be a result of the cadence fallout. Yeah, I don't know if that's true, Ian. I honestly, I'm talking about like for many years now. It has felt like I've been constantly hearing about new representation names that I've never heard of before. I mean, for me, it feels like it's been going on for many years, where I've been like, what? Who reps that guy? What? Who? Yeah. So there's just so many of them. So many. I had issues with Andy Brazzi, as Ruben knows. Oh yeah, Rich. Yeah, back in the day, I had to threaten him with a lawsuit to get my money back from him. Yeah, I didn't want to get into that. The Spirit of Con commission. Any tips on how to win a lottery for a commission from an artist? It seems like either the winner have no idea who the artist is, or is the same reseller you see. I'm not sure what you mean. I'm confused, Shaggy. Any tips? How do you win a lottery for a commission? You guys, you don't look like you have any idea what he's talking about.
Well, sometimes when you go to a convention, there's door prizes. So you have your ticket that you enter with. So whatever that number is, they'll raffle it off and have it over the loudspeaker, and you'll win whatever item, statues, comics, whatever. I think that's what he's talking about. And he's suggesting that people who are winning these pieces don't know anything about the artists who are actually raffling them off. He's probably right.
I've been on a Dave Finch live stream where he's drawing little sketch cards, and I don't know how they do it, but whoever's in the chat will be entered into the drawing, and then he'll do a drawing, and that's totally random. I mean, I don't know a way to rig that. Kind of the same way that Nick does his when he does a giveaway. It's that selects it from the chat, and it's totally a random thing. At least I think it's random.
I wanted to say that for Peter, who asked the question, what happened to cadence? Whatever. there's never been an article to come out to, give the whole story on it. The word is that the owner either taking the money for the sales and not paying it to the artists and spending it, and also issues with non-delivery of artwork, even though he had been paid for it. That's been the word. That's it. Like, there's never been any in-depth story to come out on it. Shockingly, all the artists, even the ones who have moved on, they've all decided to keep it to themselves for whatever reason. So that's all we got. That's all we can tell you about that, And Rich has a good question. Do any artists sign contracts with the reps, or is it mostly handshake agreements? Rich, and I'll let these gentlemen answer if they know anything about it, but all I know is, and because we just talked about Cadence, apparently Cadence had contracts, so that's at least one rep that used contracts. I never did. I never felt I was, I didn't represent enough guys to where I wanted to get involved with that. I figured, okay, if it grew to a certain point, then I'd certainly consider getting contracts. But I for me felt like, this is just, it's mostly for fun and to occupy my time more. So I always kind of felt like it's just, if we leave it on a handshake agreement and you're ever not happy with me, it'll be so much easier if you just tell me I want to leave, and I'll be like, great, let me pack up your shit and send it back to you. Here you go. Here's all your stuff. See ya. Good luck to you, And I just feel like it'd be so much easier to just do that, and rather than get involved with contracts or whatever. And what are you going to do even with contracts? If somebody suddenly wants to leave before the contract is up, and they told me that, right? If I was using contracts and they told me, hey, I want to leave, this guy's, he's willing to do it for 5%, honestly, I feel like even if I was using a contract in that situation, I'd be like, okay, you know what? Fine, whatever, just go. I'd work out some deal where, like, you pay for all the shipping of all your art that I got to send back to you, whatever, because I'm not going to pay that out of my pocket since you're, I'm letting you go early. But yeah, do I want to try to start lawsuits? Is any rep really going to try to take some artist to court because they want to leave before the contract is up, or they're doing something that's not in accordance to the contract? I don't think so, right? You're not really likely to be trying to take these people to court. So yeah, I feel like in that case, it feels like there's no point to it. On the other hand, I also feel some of these reps have like 100 artists under the umbrella. It's like a lot. So I don't know, maybe in that case, it's yeah, you should have contracts. So that's my thoughts. I don't know. You guys have any thoughts on that?
You have any thoughts, Jason, before I go?
I don't have enough of the inside track in that world to know if they're doing it with contracts or not.
Well, I didn't do contracts either, but there's three types. There's like the Scott Crest type contracts where you just don't want the artist to be also commissioning through another dealer. So
Okay.
So it's to make sure they're only working with you and for this amount of time. And there's usually no termination date. It's usually 30 days notice to cancel and that type of stuff. And then there's the guys who want the ironclad ones where they want a piece of every commission. So not only are you repping them if they go to a show and you're doing commissions for fans, those types of reps want a piece of the action also, and which I don't see. They didn't do anything for it, in my opinion, but yet they still want a piece of the pie. There's one rep that does that for sure, and I don't understand that theory. So no, I never did contracts either for the same reason you mentioned, is if they want to go, they can go. I felt like I was helping them out. It wasn't like I wanted to rep them. And yeah, that's the way I would still do it today if I was, which would be hand.
You mean you would prefer to just, if you did it again, you just do it on a handshake agreement?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. We're like, well, a lot of us are similar in age. So I think we also come from that old school gentleman's agreement. Like, I trust you, you trust me, we show faith in each other. If it goes to hell, it goes to hell. But right, we kind of live by that. Hey, my word is my bond. Let's
Yes.
just and see how it goes, right? So I understand that.
Do you guys help the artist set the price of his art, or does the artist tell you guys what the price should be?
I did both. I based it on their old rates, and then I would change it, and then I would give them recommendations. Oh, Don Perlin was another person I was trying to help, and so Don Perlin had no idea. This is 15 years ago, and he was asked. And Keith Pollard recently was asking me what to charge because he wanted to up his rates, and he was looking to me to find out what the other artists were charging. So I would take all these rates from various artists, and in my mind, who I thought they were comparable with. And then I'd recommend those rates, and that's how they came up with them. Most of the times, they were always low on their own, in their own head, and I would try to change that for them. And now it's the other way around. They think their stuff is way higher.
Yeah, it depends. It's like if the artist already has prices that I think are fair for his ability and his demand or whatever, his status in the hobby, in the business, whatever, just keep them the same. And then over time, you slowly raise it when you see the rest of the hobby art is being, going up in price, you fall behind. But most of the time, when I've raised it that way. And so I do it without asking the artist. But I'll say, like, hey, I think it's time we kind of started raising a little bit, on this or that or whatever, and run it by them, and they say, oh, okay, whatever you think is fine, whatever, and that's typically how it would happen, Yeah. So that's.
How do you guys figure the appreciation value of art? So, and what I mean by that is, so let's say you've been looking for a page. You've done some research, it's out there, it was sold for a certain price. How much 2 years later do you expect to pay for that? Or, a year later, how much do you think it should go up? And I don't mean anything special like the cover to some Grail comic that everyone wants, but just an average page. I mean, how do you decide what's a reasonable increase?
So I know that you're asking this, and I'm glad you asked it, Jason, because I know that you popped in the question earlier tonight, right? And when I was trying to catch up, so thank you, because I forgot in my effort to catch up to all the comments. But I saw that, right? And it's interesting because I think did your comment, if I'm not mistaken, didn't you mention it was more related to like when you see it sells, and then like let's say it's Heritage, and they have their aftermarket part of their website, right? And so then you got to pay a minimum of a certain percentage to offer that guy more money, right? It said, is that kind of how you're?
There's that, but no, it's a page that it's a page that you look up to see, has this page ever been on Heritage, so that you can look at back and you go, oh yeah, look, it sold last year, and now somebody has it a year later. And it's a huge leap from what it's sold for on Heritage. Now, I could see that if it was something that everybody wants and you're trying to take advantage of it, but it's not at least in my opinion, it's not a sought after thing. It's not the Grail for everybody. It's good art and it's a good page, but how much should you expect it to go up by? And if the person's asking a ridiculous amount and you think the fair market value is down here, if you come in with that offer, hey, I see you're selling it, but I want to give you way down here, I'm guessing it's going to kill the negotiation instantly.
Like CJ says, always high when you want it, always lower when you sell it.
Right.
The truth is that, Jason, it's not a question with an easy answer, it's not because it's not. It's pricing and evaluating artwork is not an exact science, and so that's where therein lies the rub, so to speak, right? But let me say this. Here's the thing. This is where, and again, I go back to what I've said many, many times before. This is why I always say it is imperative that everybody, and I mean everybody who steps into this hobby, it's imperative that you take some amount of time to do your own homework, to do research in at least into the type of art that you're interested in. And by research, I mean just follow the auctions, follow the type of art you like on dealer websites, see what it sells for, and just sort of keep that. I'm not saying you have to keep like an actual typewritten data, you know, I just keep it in my head. I've always just done it in my head, right? But that's why it's imperative that everybody know the market for the art they're interested in. Because then if you do, that's kind of the easy answer, right? Because if you see, oh, I just found this piece. It sold only a year ago for this much, but now he's asking this much. And to you, you might be thinking, oh, well, it seems like a lot more percentage-wise. But I don't know how well you know that artist's market, right? How do I know if you may just not know? And whatever that percentage increase that he's asking a year later, even that price could possibly be still even a little bit under the current market value. Or it could be fair, or it could be slightly or very much above, right? It can be any one of those, right? So that's why I always think like that problem is easiest solved when you know, the more you know about that artist's market, you can kind of, you know, you have an idea, and then you look at that page and you're like, well, this page should be around this much. Because here's the thing, you always have to compare this person's asking price. Okay, like if you're not sure about it, you should be comparing that to the most recent possible confirmed sales that you can find, not compared them to, oh, this other page that sold a year ago. You understand? Now, if you can't find more recent than a year ago, then that's all you have to work with. Then that's what you have to work with. Obviously, you know, this is the only one I can find. It's from a year ago, though. But again, we're not in the thick of the COVID boom anymore. Things have cooled down. Things have calmed down, right? So I see people still trying to talk like as if COVID is still raging, and they're like, you know, yeah, but it cost like $1,000 a year ago. It cost $1,000 a year ago, so now I'm asking $1,700, and it's like, whoa, buddy, whoa! Like, you think that in 2023, because it was 1,000, that 2024 means now it's 1,700 just because a year passed? That doesn't work that way. For some things, maybe, but not across the board, and especially not whatever it is that you're trying to sell. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
That's the thing, Jason. It's not an exact science, so you just kind of have to know your shit better. You gotta know, does it seem like it's too high because it's a high percentage above the last, not necessarily the last, but is it high? For example, let's say 60%. Does it seem high to me? Because boy, that's 60% higher than that last one I saw. Or does it feel expensive because you've also seen other examples more recently that you know this one is 60% higher than, you know, because if you have much more recent examples and compared to those, this one may not be 60%, it might be similarly priced or whatever. So then you're like, okay, it's better to compare to the more recent ones than the one from a year ago.
Yeah. So then here's another question. So let's say for a given artist, pages are going at $10,000. And then for whatever reason, a page is listed at 18 and somebody buys it. A new collector buys it, or it's the page that person wanted. Is that now the fair market value for that artist? It's now 18,000 for every page that comes out, or is that just a fluke? And how do you know when it's just a fluke and really the value of that artist is still 10,000, not the 18 that some one collector paid for one page? Does that make sense?
Yeah. See, the thing about that is that in that example, another thing I've always said is one sale or one transaction does not a market make.
Sure.
Okay, that's the thing. Now, if you're talking about the kind of art that it's just hard to find comps for, right? Then you've got nothing else to work with. You might have to work with those numbers. But I would say sometimes that might be a fair price. But usually, in my opinion, usually it's like, whoa, like, okay, that's a lot more. But it's only one example, right?
Right.
So when I see, what I will say is, like, when I see at least a few more examples of that art sell in similarly to that range, that new higher range, then I'll believe it. But until I see more than just this one, I'm going to hold off. That's how I look at it. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong, though, but that's how I kind of handle it, you know? You got something to throw into that, Shaun?
Well, it depends on the subject matter. So if you have, 26 pages or 30 pages of a comic, and the character that is associated with the comic is only in half of them, the other half obviously have to be a lot less, even though they're done by the same artist. But it's the character or the what that person's specifically looking for. So there's some John Byrne X-Men pages that are worth more than others because there's activity on them, action or whatever's going on them.
Right.
But what I've done, I haven't been selling, so I don't have a good grasp of what to ask for. But I do a lot of making offers, and I'm probably on a 50% acceptance rate right now. And what I've done is I look for something I specifically want, and then I find out what has sold in the past. If it's a Teen Titans Perez page, for instance, I'll look at some of the ones around that issue in comparable design level, and then see what the value was. Even if it's like 3-4 years old, then I'll say, okay, well, I can't be below that number now. I have to be above that number on my offer. And how much do I really want it? And sales, you're supposed to try to make an offer. The first person who makes an offer usually, or sets a price, usually loses. You're trying to set a floor. And so when someone tries to sell me a piece and they ask me how much you're offering, I usually say, free. And then they come back with $1 million. And I say, okay, now we're working from someplace. And we get down to where it's going to be more reasonable. But it's usually the first person that throws a number out. If you have a piece and you say make an offer and somebody throws an offer, there's a good 10% chance they're going to throw a higher number than you were even thinking. And so you like to make offer option when you're receiving them. But trying to give them, it's a little tougher. So you try to be below what you think it should be at, just so you didn't overspend. And if the person wants to come back with a counter offer, then you work from that. So if there's a $10,000 page, I offer $8,000. He says, no, I want 12. And you say, well, I can afford 10. And then you work from there, and you settle on a price there when you're buying. I don't know how it is on the seller side, but if I was selling, I probably would ask first, make offer. And I usually reply now that, if what kind of value did you have in mind, and see where they come back at, and then try to work from that also.
I like that, Shaun, and some of the guys in the chat also have some advice. So Jewish Dragons, Ian says, I would make an offer based on what you think it's worth and how much you want it. If someone wants it more, then so be it. The only thing I'll say to that, though, Ian, is it kind of goes to what I said before. In order for you to make an offer based on what you think or what I think it's worth, I first have to kind of know the market of that type of art. So that's the thing. If you don't really know the market for that art, then you're frozen, right? You don't know if how to make an offer. You don't really know what to base it on. So that's that. And then Carl says, if it's that unrealistic, or at least if you feel it is, of a jump, and see, again, it ties into that, right? And the market, that's the thing. That's the key. That's why it's so imperative, everybody. You got to learn your market. You're fighting an uphill battle, so best to find another example, unfortunately, if you really feel that way. Like it's like I agree with that last part. When you're kind of not sure of what the fair value should be, but your gut's telling you, man, it seems high. Man, Jason, I always say walk away. Better to walk away.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you know, there's exceptions, right? The exception would be if that particular example, which you feel is like high, if by some chance that example also happens to be like by far the best example you've ever seen on the market of that,
Right. Sure.
right? Then it's worth it because there's exceptions to the rule. The best exceptions, the best examples of any kind of, you know, character, title, artist, whatever, always should come with a premium. You know what I mean? You should expect a premium for the best examples. You know what I mean? So yeah. And then there was one other one. Rich says it's also helpful to have a fellow collector friends who collect similar pieces, and you discuss opinions on a price. Of course, I mean, the more people, that's why it's always good to make friends, which is why I always tell people, come here, we're all friends. You know, you make friends with each other, and then you can reach out whenever you need an opinion on, hey, what do you think about this price or whatever. Just make sure you are asking somebody who you think knows about that market, not just a random friend who also doesn't collect that type of art and never looks at it, right? Because they're going to be as lost as you are, basically, you know. So that's the thing, you know. And if the seller rejects a reasonable offer, then I usually just shrug off and move on. Yeah, and there's a lot of efficiency. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you got to be willing to walk away for sure. Dan says, so here's an example. I bid on a cover at Heritage, sold for $1,800. Dealer, after the auction, listed on his site for $3K. So I know the markup is $3K less $1,800. Yeah, so he almost doubled, let's say.
Yeah.
Right? He like 80% up or whatever. Yeah. So I know you. Yeah, but is there a question in there somewhere, Dan? I mean, yeah, not sure. You know, but let's say, see, that's the thing. I've seen people do that too, right? I've seen collectors do that. It's not just dealers, right? I've seen collectors do that.
Right.
So yeah, the question to me is, and this is why if like you, Jason, if you or even Dan, if you come to me and you say, yeah, so this thing on Heritage, you know, it closed recently at $1,800. He's got it on his gallery for $3,000. What do you think? Like, first, if you're not showing it to me, the first thing I'm going to be like, well, what is it? Right? Who's the artist? What's the page? Show me the page. That's the first thing. I want to see this thing, right? Because seeing it, the first thing you get is, okay, I either know something about this kind of art or this artist, or I don't, you know? And if I don't, it'll be quicker for me to just see it, and like I can tell you right away whether it feels like, yeah, it's too strong, or don't forget, guys, I know we like to complain a lot about the ever rising prices, but keep in mind that there are times when certain pieces at auction do fall. And by the way, at every auction, I see stuff that I feel fell by the wayside. And you think, why does that happen? There's so many people, especially at Heritage, right? There's so many people there. How could that happen? It's impossible. No, it's not impossible. It's because a certain type of piece by, let's say, this artist comes up first. But it's not quite the best example by that artist, or it's maybe not from the preferred title that artist has worked on. It's still in demand. The thing is that there's also those same characters maybe came out in this other series by this other artist, and that's even more in demand, but that comes later in the auction. So what happens is a bunch of the guys and gals who want to bid and are interested in both, but they're more interested in that second one. So they're like, shit, but that second one is going to be for sure, it's worth a lot more than the first one. So if I go after that first one and I win it, like, it's cool, but that's going to probably take me out of the running to fight for that second one that comes later, because I'll already have spent X amount of dollars out of my budget, right? So what do a lot of people do? They're like, fuck it, I'm just going to save every penny for the good one, you know, the better one, and that's it. I'm just going to let this one go, and I'm going to save all my pennies for that last one and go as hard as I can on that last one. So you get like the top 3 or 4 or even 5 bidders, or the people who would have been the best, strongest bidders for that first piece, who decide, forget it, I'm holding out for that second one, suddenly that first one ends way cheaper than it should. It happens. It happens. You know? So, you know, and so what happens is that when that does happen, on those occasions, that's when you often see collectors and dealers take the piece, and because they're so shocked at how cheap it went, they're like, woohoo, instant profit. Throw it up on my website for $3, you know, oh, I got it for only $1,800. That should have sold for $3,000 easy. So what do? They take it and they put it up for $3,000. You understand? So in that example, if it's that example, that very example that I just said, in that example, they're not rip-off artists, right? They're only putting it, they're flipping it immediately, but they're only putting it for what should be the fair value right now, right? It's just because they got it so cheap, below fair market value, that they're able to flip it that way. So that's the thing. I feel, in all fairness, you can't really bitch about those kinds of people. I can imagine you getting pissed that you missed out on getting that deal at $1,800.
I can bitch about anybody, Ruben. I can bitch about anybody. Just give me a minute to bitch about him.
I know you can, Jason. But on the other side of the coin, I also, of course, admit that if it like sold for $1,800, the guy flipped it already on his website or his gallery for like $3,000, and you happen to know, hey, I just saw other examples recently sold for about $2,000 or whatever, like, then you know that, $3,000 seems like pretty strong, right?
Yep.
And then I would say, I would stay away, you know?
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, I used to give the advice that, hey, offer him $2,000. He got it for 18. It's an immediate flip he's trying to do. Offer him $2,000. It's only worth around $2,000 anyways. And if he says no, you know, but most of the time, of course, they're going to say no or ignore you or whatever. So that's the problem. They put up the money already, so they still want to get at least a reasonable profit. And I would think somebody putting up 1,800 probably wants, realistically, if they're pricing it at $3,000, they realistically are probably willing to want to get at least 25 out of it or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So you would still have to make that offer. I would think that would be my advice. I would think, you know, at 1,800, he's already trying to flip it for $3,000. He might go for 25. I don't know that it'd be worth asking, 22, because the way they look at it, it's not about how much profit margin they have. You know, it's about, well, whatever. My profit margin is my business. I got it for a great deal. That's to my benefit, and they're right about that. But they're just, with you, when you're looking to make them an offer, they're going to just look at it as, I don't care. It doesn't matter what I bought it for. Again, that's to my benefit. What matters is I want $3,000 for it. But okay, I'm willing to deal. But you're asking me to drop it to $2,000, from $3,000 to $2,000. No, I don't. Right? I don't want to just make $200. What a waste of my time, right? So you kind of have to expect you would have to offer them more than that. That's the problem, you know. And you may not be willing to, right? So.
Yep.
So yeah.
Well, as a buyer, I would just say, what's your rock bottom? I wouldn't even throw a number out.
I don't like that, Shaun. You know what? When people do that to me, and that's a very common thing, right? If people say, hey, what's your best price for this? I'm like, let's say, for example, they're asking for something that's $2,000, you know? And I get the email, hi, I'm interested in this. What's your best price? My answer is usually, well, the best price for me is $2,000.
Right.
And I'm trying to get them to see, well, I'm asking $2,000. Clearly, the best price for me is what I'm asking. That's why I hate that terminology, the best price, because I guess what I'm getting at is I'm trying to get that person to sort of understand that the onus is on you to make me the offer. Don't ask me what my best price is. I want to get as much as I can for it, right? I'm willing to go down from $2,000, but I still want as much as I can. You want to pay as low as you can, but you know my price already. So the onus on the buyer, on the potential buyer, is it's on them to counter offer. You understand? That's how,
I understand, but
Yeah.
every time I've done it, I can only think of like one instance where somebody came back with the attitude that you just gave. Everybody else has come down with a different price.
really.
Yes.
If it works for you, so be it.
If they have a price to start with, meaning if it's for sale for a certain price, not that it's in their personal gallery, it's my collection.
Right.
You can't do that. It's usually what a set price you start from, and you approach a dealer. Sometimes I'll even be honest with them and say, I'm looking at two pieces right now, yours and someone else's, and I'm not sure which one I want to do yet. I want to know what your best price on yours is before I make my decision. And then they know you're serious. And if you have a good gallery, they'll know you're serious about what you're buying, and they'll come down. But I understand where you're coming from. Most sellers aren't that way, though. That I've run across.
That's good. I'm good. I'm glad to hear that. In fairness, I will say I don't do that all the time. Sometimes I will just give a price, but I will also add to that when I'm willing to answer the what's your best price question, I typically go down not as low as I'm willing to.
Right. Well, I never term it. I always say, what's your rock bottom? I never say, what's your best price? Because that's.
But that's still, to me, though, as the seller, it's still the same thing. To me, you're like, what's your rock bottom? I still won't give you my rock bottom because I'm like, I don't want to sell it at the rock bottom. I just feel like it's already fairly priced, but okay, I'm willing to give a discount. I feel that you as the potential buyer should be willing to work with me. We work on it together. I don't feel like the onus should be on me to go and just go as low as I'm willing to. Because don't forget, Shaun, you may be talking about a piece where, I've had it for a long time. It has increased in value tremendously since I got it. So I have a lot of profit into it, but that doesn't mean I should drop, like, you know what I mean? Like, so let's say it's $2,000 retail ask, right? And you're asking me rock bottom, but it cost me $300, right? Well, I could say in my head, if I give it to him for $600, I'm still doubling my money, right? But if I think it's fairly worth $2,000, of course I'm not going to drop it to $600. So that's the thing. It's like I can afford to drop it to that low if I want to, but I'm not going to. So that's why I always feel like I usually I'm nice about it, and I kind of say, look, you know what I'm asking. Just give me your best price that you are willing to pay for it. And if I can do it, I'll go for it. If not, I'll tell you. That's how I kind of,
Well, for the sake of the listeners, let's try. Let's give an example. I want your Hulk cover. What's your rock bottom, Ruben?
Yeah. So here's another one.
Yeah.
So if a seller has a piece that they've had it for sale for at least 2 years and it has not sold, and now they're asking for more than what they were asking 2 years ago, still hasn't sold, but now they're asking more. If you wanted that piece, do you try to get them back to their 2 years ago price when they couldn't sell it, or do you have to give in?
We're talking about the Donnelly brothers, I'm sure.
No, actually, no, it's somebody else. But
No. Let me say this though, because here's the thing. I know a lot of collectors complain about that, right? But you have to understand business, okay? As a collector, does it bug me when I see that? Especially if I was kind of thinking about getting it? Yes, of course. Yeah, it does. Okay. But, being a seller and a buyer, when I put my selling hat on, I also completely understand. The buyer thinks, well, you haven't sold it you haven't sold it in 2 years, whatever. Why would you put it up? You should be putting it down. No, I'm telling you, as somebody who has bought and sold thousands and thousands of pages over the years, I can tell you, Jason, and everybody else who gets angry when that happens, you still have to keep up with hobby inflation, okay? Because I go with the premise that every piece in existence, more or less, has a buyer out there that exists, okay? The question is, every collector, they don't know all the dealers, they don't know all the reps. There's so many these days. The question is somebody out there for your piece that's been, let's say it's again, we use 2,000. Let's say it's 2,000 on your site for 2 years. You've had it for 2,000. And then I recently put it up to 2,500, let's say, okay, or even $3,000, whatever. Here's the thing. If I do that, you got to know. For me, I'm only speaking for myself. I can't speak for the other dealers. I don't know how they're thinking, okay? But for me, if I did that, I only did that because I'm probably going, why the hell hasn't this thing sold yet? I can't believe because there's a buyer out there for this piece. They just haven't found my site, right? They haven't found me yet. And the only reason I would bother to raise it is because in the recent past, I would have seen similar examples sell for that new price that I've recently put mine at. You understand?
Yeah.
So for me, there's a reason why I'm raising it. And I truly believe that the buyer's out there and they just haven't found me. We haven't made that connection of the artwork with the collector, you know? Think of it another way. If a seller never raised their prices, right? Sure, with the hobby inflation that we have in this hobby, I mean, oh my God, there would be a day where like somebody would suddenly notice this dealer with, oh my God, look, are these prices real? Like what's happening? And everybody would swarm the website and just start buying it all for resale for themselves just because it looks too cheap. You know what I mean?
Right.
So at a certain point, you as a seller, you do have to have your stuff maintained, keep up with the hobby values, you know. But again, I wouldn't do it like randomly for no reason. Like again, just speaking for myself, I wouldn't be like, well, I've had this for a long time now, and I had it for $2,000, and I've had it for a few years. Okay, I'll put it for $3,000. Like me, again, just me. Maybe other dealers do that. I don't know. Me, I would never do that. I would only do it if I've seen comparables sell for that new price range. Then I'd be like, holy shit, okay, I'm putting mine up there too. Because otherwise, sooner or later, and by the way, Jason, it has happened to me where I saw things that I had, right? Other examples on the market sell for significantly more than what I was asking on my website. And I was like, oh, I've had mine for a while. I'm like, fuck it, who cares? Whatever. Let you know.
Right.
Doesn't matter. And then almost like very soon thereafter, I get a notification. What? Oh, you have an order. What? What's this for? Ah, shit. And somebody found that my examples of that art on my site and bought them because clearly they saw what I saw. They saw the other examples recently sell for a lot more. And so they did a search, right? They did a search. So let's see. And if anybody has any more of this stuff at old prices from yesterday, and that's what the person did, and they bought it from me, and you know I could have gotten like a lot more, right? So yeah, so I don't automatically think that somebody who raises their price on their website, even though they haven't sold it for a long time, I don't think that's a bad thing. I really don't. I really do. Again, talking from experience, I really do believe that it's all tied into the fact that I believe everything has a customer waiting out there somewhere that you just have to. You know, it's the question is just are you guys ever going to match? Will that buyer that's out there for this piece, will they ever find my piece, or will I be able to find them? You know, that's just kind of how I see it. You know, I don't know. You're a collector at heart only. You're not a seller, so you probably don't really agree with me. I get that.
I mean, no. I totally get. There's a business to it. It's just that. I guess if you're having trouble getting rid of something, I guess you're gonna wait and someday you'll find that seller. But if there is a seller, so for me it was a page I saw. I wasn't ready to buy it at that time, or just the money wasn't there at that time for that piece. So you sit on it and you're aware of it. You kind of go back and you look at it and you think, well, maybe soon. But then went back to look at it and now it's way more expensive, and I know it's been sitting there for a couple years, and so now I'm like, well, now I don't
Right.
want to buy it because
Right. Well, because it's more now. But don't
Right.
you? But don't you agree? Can you be honest with yourself, Jason, and admit that when that happens at that moment, part of the frustration, it's not all you can't say. I don't think you can say that all the frustration is 100% on. Oh God, he didn't sell it, and now he jacked it up 50%.
no,
Can't you admit that part of the frustration on your part is, oh, I kept humming and hawing about it,
absolutely.
right? And I
Yeah.
didn't friggin', I wasn't decisive fast enough, right?
No, I get
And
that.
that was-
Yeah, I admit. Yeah.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Hey, Chuck, what's
Now
up, buddy?
But as a collector now, it's really hard to bring myself to go after that page if I know it was and should still be, because it's just sitting there. Nobody wanted it. But yeah, I get it. You wouldn't make a business if you kept prices 20 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, eventually people will start taking it for much lower than they should have gotten it for. Great for the buyer, but bad for the seller. You know what I mean? But I agree with you. If you haven't seen comps very recently, that would explain why that sudden price jump, right? If you haven't seen that, then I agree with you. Then I'm with you. I'm like, what is he thinking? What's he doing?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I will also tell you that, again, speaking for myself, how I have sometimes also handled it is when I've looked at something and, and I've said this before, I'm on record here. Sometimes I'll have inventory pieces that I'm just sick of seeing, right? It could be for many reasons. It could simply be that, you know what, I'm upset that I can't believe this thing hasn't sold after 2 years. Like I thought when I bought it that it would sell fast, right? And here I have it 2 years later. Like so I get angry about that. I'm like, fuck, man, this is a great piece. Why nobody wants it? So I just get sick of seeing it. So I want to get rid of it. So then when I'm chatting with people, we're talking about some art and stuff. And if they say anything even remotely indicative that they may have interest potentially in a piece like that, I may bring it up and say, hey, so look, I got this piece or whatever. Does this interest you at all in any way, shape, or form? And I'll talk about, I'll make you a good price. Right. So then, and so there are times where I have lowered the price just to move stuff because I just want to get rid of it. I'm just sick and tired of seeing it and having it in inventory or whatever,
Right.
So yeah, there are times where I will go lower, not higher. Like I said, but it's all there's a good reason for it, right? If it's still worth that same price, because not everything, contrary to what everybody thinks, not every single type of art constantly is going up every year. Right. Okay. So if I feel like it's still worth what I priced it at 2 years ago, yeah, and I don't want to, I'm kind of tired of having it there. I'll entertain dealing for it and going lower. But in the case where recent comps show that, oh my gosh, it's like 50% higher than the one on my website, right? Of course, I'm going to raise those pieces to similar amounts because now I have comps that say, some people out there are paying those prices. I just got to hope that whoever those people are, they find my website or my gallery or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know, Shaun. I'm not sure if you agree or not. So.
Well, I understand the theory behind that, but no, I don't. If you want to keep something, I would take my choice pieces and I would probably do that. I wouldn't take my whole inventory and do it though. Okay. I would just take the pieces that I would like to get rid of, like you just mentioned, and just leave them there. And inflation will catch up with it and it'll finally go away.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have all the answers. It's on, like I said, it's not a science, right? It's not an exact science, whatever, right? So right. I would say there's different ways of handling it, but I would just say to all collectors out there, when you see that happen, first, before getting angry, please check to see if maybe at some auction or some other website out there, similar examples may have recently sold for prices that indicate why that person has now jacked up their price, even though they've had it for 2 years. So I'm just saying, You may not like it, but I'm saying there could be a good reason for it, you know? So Stanley
Okay,
says he doesn't really like dealers. So thank you, Stanley, for that very concise comment. And apparently they don't like you. That's what I've heard. I'm joking. I haven't heard that. I haven't heard that. But I don't know. That's how I look at it. Let me see. Chuck said, oh yeah. So Chuck earlier had said there's a threshold on the auctions. If a dealer sees a deal, they're gonna grab it, but they generally don't pay FMV. I assume. You know what's funny? I feel like it depends, Chuck. It depends on whether they're paying FMV. You know, you would think they wouldn't pay FMV. Me, when I've played dealer, have paid FMV, and I just hold on to it until, you know, because I just like it and I want to be able to sell it one day because I like to offer nice stuff. But I'll put it away for a year or 2 years or 3 years until it accrues more value. And now there's a profit margin built in. But most dealers, when they buy it and they soon thereafter put it out for sale at a higher price, they will usually tell you they think they got it for too cheap. So they will tell you they kind of got wholesale. But you and I may believe, not really. That's pretty much FMV right there. You know, you paid FMV and you're just jacking it up higher. But again, everybody's different, so we can't speak for everybody, right? So too many Flipper McGee these days. I miss the good old days. But there's always been a lot of Flipper McGees. Come on. A lot of better deals at auction happen early on, like Ruben said, because bidders are targeting a later piece in the auction. Yeah, that's exactly. See many auction pieces that didn't sell cheap still get doubled a month later on a dealer site. That happens too. That's true. Oh, I admit, for a lot of them, it seems like there's no rhyme or reason. It looks like sometimes I'm like, I see stuff at auction that was like, wow, holy cow, look at how much that thing sold for. And then like a few weeks later, some guy on CAF is like posting it for twice the price or what. I'm like, what? What are you doing? Like, that doesn't make any sense, you know? What's up, bootlegging? Don't forget that you need to list your pieces for greater than FMV or you end up leaving money on the table. Yeah, you should know your market though. And that's the best way to not leave money on the table. And people should always be willing to leave a little bit. That's not you can't be dickering for every last dollar, and that's too much greed in that sense. So I list high during CAF Live to try and land at a price I actually want, right? Because people will maybe make an offer or whatever. Look, there's different strategies for setting prices for sure. So I totally get that. Don't hate the player, hate the game. That's very true, Marcus. At least they don't change the game when their brother vetoes the price. Nice. And how many times does a piece change hands between dealers? Yeah, I don't get why that always happens. And that's been going on my entire time in the hobby. Those of you who've been around since the 90s, you know what we're talking about. Friggin' dealers back and forth, trading it with each other. I don't know what that's about. On each time, and each time at a higher price. Yeah, but that's what happens when you're trading. You want to get more value on the trade that you got. Price that was listed. Okay. And Comic Art Boston came back. Wow, just checking in for a little while. Thank you, sir. Lovely to have you. My gosh, I'm so behind here. Good to see you, my friend. I do agree with that, Ruben. What you paid should not matter. It's not their business. Oh, yeah, exactly. Great example, CJ and everybody else, is like, and this has happened to me many times, but the last time it happened was already, thankfully, like 3-4 years ago. I had a piece. I had picked it up at the Comic Link, and I bought it because I thought, oh, my God, that's so cheap, right? But even though it was so cheap, like I felt the retail value, the fair value, was twice as much. And it was a cheap piece, anyways. Like it was like I think I got it for $220 or something. And before the auction ended, though, I was like, oh, this is like a $500 piece, easy, right? And I got it for $220. And even though I had a built-in profit to what I thought it was worth, I still, as I'm wont to do, I still put it into inventory for at least probably 2 years or something like that, And then when I put it out on my site, I had it for I think $500 or $450 or $500, and this guy comes along and says, Yeah, you paid $250 for that. I'll give you 300. Like obnoxious, okay? Like the way he did it was in an absolutely obnoxious way. Basically with that attitude of, hey, I'm gonna surprise you with the fact that I know what you paid, even though it was 2 years ago. And since I know what you paid, you're gonna give it to me for a lot less than you're asking. That's the kind of attitude he came with, right? So I kept trying to keep my cool, but I sternly told him that what I paid 2 years ago has nothing to do with what it's worth today. You know, and I kind of made it clear to him. I gave him a deal, but I gave him a small deal, you know, not the one he wanted. But he was rude and obnoxious all the way through, right to the end. You know, that's just whatever. That happens too, right? Like, what are you gonna do? But no, it's true what CJ said. Like, it's nobody's business what you paid for it. What you pay, you should never, as a buyer, you should never try to throw out, oh, hey, I know you paid this or whatever, so that's what I'm gonna base my buying price on. You know, it does suck if somebody's just flipping. They bought it at fair market value and they flip it. So every dollar above what they paid is like overpriced, right? That sucks. And I don't mind as a buyer paying a little bit over market for something. It depends what it is. But it's the question of how much over market I'm willing to pay. How badly do I want it?
Right.
But typically it's never as much as those flipper guys want, right? So, but I'll never say, come on, you just paid this much for it. Like, I'll never throw that in their faces, you know? Yeah. Oh, sorry, that's that one. So, hey, when someone asks my best price, when they want me to come down in price. Hi, Shaun. Hope you're having fun. Ruben needs to raise the price to discount it. I don't need to do that. No, but don't forget, there's always a range. No piece of art really truly has a price. I've always felt that every piece of art has a range, a price range, right? The FMV, right? It's a range, fair market value. It's never just, $150 for this type of page or whatever, right? It could be, 125 to 150, or it could be, 150 to 175 or 150 to 200. There's a range. So I've always, I've always tried to put it at the higher end of the FMV. So it's still FMV, right? And that does give me some room to wiggle, and that's it. But I don't tend to price things above FMV. Apologies if I am misunderstanding the issue. I usually ask, what is the lowest price? And most who know me know I am serious. Well, that's different though too. If they know you, of course it's going to be a different result, and they give me the bottom line price. Yeah, that's okay, Cab. I mean, yeah. If it works for you, like it works for Shaun, right? So, hey, doggy. Yeah, so that's it. If it works, and that's that. Your discount is the rock bottom price, but not necessarily. Like we talked earlier when you weren't here, Cab. My rock bottom could be lower, but I'm not willing to let it go for rock bottom. I want more. I want closer to fair market value. Why should I let it go for rock bottom just because I'm able to when fair market value is higher, right? So that's what I'm saying. When someone lowballs me on a price, I tell them to check their other pocket for the rest of the money. Well, I'm not rude that way, but that's another way to say it. The phrase I always hated when I was selling various collectibles and antiques is, I'll give you, in my mind, you're not giving me anything. There's all sorts of ways. That's why I was last to the rest. Well, okay. UFO, rock bottom. I don't know what I must have missed it. I don't know what you guys are talking about with this UFO thing. What's UFO?
It's a rock group, isn't it? Rock. They're a band.
Yeah, but UFO, rock bottom for the win. I don't know. But earlier they were talking about, at the beginning of the show, they were talking about UFOs. I'm like, I don't know what they meant.
I got in late. Remember?
Oh yeah, that's true. It's not business when you agree to a price and then they ghost you. Don't you hate that though? That's true too. Well, when anybody ghosts you for any reason, even if they haven't agreed to a price, But yeah, ghosting that's one of the worst. Yeah, that's one of the biggest pet peeves for sure. Sorry, Chuck. Hobby inflation is a made-up thing made up by a dealer. No, Chuck. Come on, man. No. If we're going to be serious about this, does that happen? Yes. But that's not the only thing. No. It happens because most of the art being sold, in the last 10 or 15 years, I would submit that most of the hobby inflation is caused by all of us seeing the prices being paid at auction. More and more art kept being sold through auctions, and the prices just got higher and higher. Those were actual sales. So when we see that, everybody who has stuff for sale that's of similar content, we adjust our prices accordingly. That's true hobby inflation. So
I have to answer CJ's comment.
Sure.
He wants my rock bottom.
Let me go down and highlight it first. Is it one of the more recent ones?
Yeah, he wants to know my rock bottom price for the dog.
Okay.
I can have her in a box out to you tomorrow morning. She's my problem child.
Heritage usually gets the most eyes, so that's what most people use as comps. That's true. But those numbers are a bit inflated as well. Well, again, it's not every piece of art sold is the law, right, Chuck? But if enough examples of the same type of thing sell there, you can rely and assume that is the fair market value. The price of poutine and smoked meat goes up every year. There's a Canadian thing for you. There's a supermodel out there for me. She just hasn't seen me yet. Yeah. I'm sure. She's trying to find you, man. No wonder you're playing hard to get. Ruben's like Meatloaf. He'll do a lot of things, but he won't do that. Nice. Right, but you got the item sold for what you wanted to be happy, but more, yeah, and move on. Yeah. Oh, okay. A sticker. I still like to do this. That's asking me what. Okay, have such a giant inventory. If they have a giant inventory, again, like I said, not every example is the same, right? There's all sorts, so many variables, right? For sure. Especially if you've got thousands of things in inventory. I never had thousands of pieces in my dealer inventory, so yeah, I got to treat it differently. Sorry, I'm selling sprockets at 10 cents each and they don't sell. Raising the price to $15 isn't going to help. That's true. But that's a horrible example to compare with, Tom, because you know that sprockets are not one of a kind unique art. You can always go and get more sprockets elsewhere. That's the thing. So that's a bad comparison. You'd rather sell the crappy art than sell off your gems. Yeah, that's true. That's probably, yeah, that's true. I mean, like I typically try to.
It takes a lot of energy. You spend a lot of. I've gotten bad advice from dealers before when I was selling comic books. I had some national dealers would tell me, like the person who came up with the curated copies of the comic books, he had the highest graded. Now it's the highest graded Spider-Man 1 and AF-15. And at the time, he had the whole run of Spider-Mans, and he was, I'm going to sell these two, the first, number 1 and AF-15, and keep all the rest. In my opinion, and he told me because quantity will appreciate faster than the quality, and he was completely wrong, in my opinion. So I've thrown that advice out over 10 years ago, and I will spend the extra effort in selling my lower price stuff and keeping the choice stuff. Because the choice stuff always seems to always appreciate faster and higher than if I had kept all the quantity stuff. So I would agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. This is from earlier. Rich says that he's had it happen to him too, where a buyer quotes him what he paid for the price for the piece, which made him feel entitled to the discount that he's asking for. Just because he knows what you paid for it. Yeah, and that's so annoying. Just got issues. Before 2020, just under 100. Sorry, I missed that, man. 7 minutes. I'm trying to catch up fast. Dealers like, okay, I'm going to get off. You and Marcus back and forth with your Anthony talk. I'll skip over. Tom was wearing a UFO. Oh, Tom was wearing a UFO T-shirt. Okay, I didn't notice that. Thanks, Rick. Appreciate it.
I didn't either.
People wanted to do a trade. They tell me that their piece is valued at, and then proceed to ask what I paid for my piece. So my paid value versus the perceived value of your piece. Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. Although I will say, Rich, conversely, I also hate it when people want to trade with me from something, let's say, that's on my website, so it's already got a price. And then if it's somebody like that I don't really know, and they're not known really for selling, let's say, and they want to trade with me, and all they do is show me a link to their website, right? Their gallery. Well, I don't want to waste my time. And most of these people have, historically speaking, have wasted my time. And I don't want to have my time wasted. And so if they don't have values, I'm not going to be looking around, spending 2 hours looking around to see if I find something I like on their site in order to trade, right? I may see, if I see something really quickly, that I'm like, okay, I'd rather have this than the one I have. That seems like a good, fair enough value. I won't even ask them what they value it at. I'll just say, well, if you're interested, I'll give you the one you want, and you got to give me this, or you got to give me this and that. You know, the problem is, I try to do it quickly, because often what happens is they get back to me and they say, oh no, are you kidding? Only one of those pieces alone is worth more than the one piece I want from you. I'm like, are you serious? Get the hell out. Okay, you're wasting my time now, you know? Because that just goes to show they don't know what they're talking about. And I don't want to deal, if you're not pricing your art, then it's a waste of my time. I can tell right away it's going to be a big waste of time, because they don't know how to value their art. It's clear that they're overvaluing their art, is what I'm trying to say, you know? So hard to trade, hard to make trades when you don't really know if the person's realistic or not, you know? And thank you, Bob. I love trades. I've got to bring in long box. So yeah, comics it's different though. You know, you can always get comics back. So sure, you'd like to move comics. I would trade them away too, for sure. You could have pried out Marvel covers from the 60s and 70s for that kind of money. What was it? 6970 Jerry Anderson show. Oh, okay. The Stingray guy. Right. Got you. Pull up 30 books for my collection. New art is made every day, Ruben. It is, but people that love that new art made every day don't necessarily also like all the older art. And the people that love all the older art don't care that there's new art being made every day. So one is not like the other, you know? Yeah. And the cab, her name is Pee-Pee, like Pee-Pee Longstocking.
Pippi. I didn't put right P in. Yeah, Pippi. Her full name is Pippin, but we call her Pippi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And the no shortage of original art. Like I said, it's different. New and older are different. And choice pieces, if you know value, it's always best to sell privately. I don't necessarily agree with that. When I sell privately, Tom, and like I said earlier, it's simply because it'll be easier and waste less of my time. That's why. I hear that a lot over the years, you know, like, oh yeah, all the great stuff is like, you know, it's all sold privately, you know, because it sells for a lot more when you do it privately. I don't know. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not, whatever. I don't know. But all I can tell you is when I sell privately, it's simply because I know somebody who I probably can make a quick sale to, and I just want to not waste my time. That's it. So, yeah. The decision whether to lower prices is whether one runs a business with overheads. That's true. I mean, that's another one of the many variables I keep mentioning, Mark, for sure. And whether it's just a hobby or a side hustle. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, good night to you, Dan. And maybe this is a good time for all of us to say good night. CJ, yeah. So we've just hit the 3-hour mark, everybody. And it's been awesome. I mean, I can't believe that, again, on a makeup episode, a last-minute change of episode, I had to do it literally just a few hours that Nick canceled before having to go live, and I had to spend all this time kind of redoing a new thumbnail and all that. And so it's amazing to me that so many people turned out today, and that there was so much live action in the chat. So you guys are awesome, and I really, really appreciate you for that, as always, as you know. It's been amazing. Been an amazing, fun evening, and again, speaking for myself, 3 hours felt like it flew by big time. So yeah, Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Shaun. Of course, really appreciate hanging with you guys, and yeah, thanks for hanging in as long as you did as well. I really appreciate that. Commodore Boston, thank you. Had people want to buy my gallery that is clearly not for sale and offer me a trade of an artist I don't call it. But, you know how that it always happens. So thank you thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. When there is no plan, anything is possible. Fun chat, guys. Thank you, Carl. I appreciate it, and congrats again on the basically 2,000 views on today's video. Insane, so cool, and a fun video too. Great show. Thank you, Rich. Appreciate it. And thanks for the show, Ruben, Jason, and Shaun, and the missing Tom. Nice chatting with you. Appreciate you. Thank you. And yeah, don't forget, everybody, to check in if you have time to check in with Nicky B on Friday. I hope he's going to be there. I would assume he will. And hopefully he gives us an update, and we'll see how he's doing. Thank you, CJ. Really appreciate it. When does the movie talk start? Certainly not today. But don't forget that we may be doing another movie show, Marcus. We may. So we'll see. Peter, thank you very much. We really appreciate you, and always for tuning in. I appreciate it. And yeah, you're very welcome, Carl. You're very welcome.
Good to see you, Shaun. See you, Ruben.
Yep,
I'm out.
All right, take it easy. Are you out of here? You're hitting the sack.
Yep.
Jason. All right.
Gotta go.
How about you?
All right.
Are you pooping off?
No, I can stay on if you need me.
Okay. Well, I don't need you. If you need to go, you can go. I'm just I'm just gonna catch up to all the bye-byes, and then show my next week's thumbnail, and then I'll be getting off anyway. So.
Well, then I'll catch you next week then. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good, man. Have a great week.
All right. Good night.
Thank you again. Appreciate it, man.
Welcome, bye.
Yeah. Thanks, bud. Yeah, so thank the rest of you. Who else we got here? John, once I see the shake weight. Once I see the shake weight, I knew this was a show I had to see. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it was fun, wasn't it, Rick? I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Yeah. JC Padilla, what is up? Thank you, my friend. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for sticking around all 3 hours, man. Appreciate it, man. Good night, Shaun and Kneecapper Clancy. Awesome. Yeah, nice, Stanley. Nice. Maybe just you and me will stay on. You, me, and Marcus will stay on, talk movies. And yeah, have a great week. Can you demo how the shake weight works? I've already done it. You can rewind and see it. Thank you, Shaggy. Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Had a good time. Thank you for your participation. Thanks for dropping in again. And Tom Kadzalowski, you were here? God, I was able to catch the tail end of the show. All right. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate it. And in his doctor's opinion, does Jason think that the shake weight works? All right, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it, Marcus. Thank you, as always. Guys, I guess there's you guys are dropping out quick, so I'm just going to say bye-bye while I leave my thumbnail for next week. Shake it for longer for better results. You shake it harder and faster, John. Doing it the way you showed us. What can I tell you, man? I'm not the expert. So yeah, let me go and give you this next week's episode. Oh, and of course, just real quick for next week, don't forget. Yeah, remember to check out Nicky B's show. I don't have his. Unfortunately, I don't think they scheduled it yet, so I don't have his link to the episode. But here it is, anyways, for the main URL, the exp.com. To youtube.com/exp, I should say. Okay, and check that out. That's Friday, and yeah, we'll hope that he's doing better and that he's going to host the show. And yeah, I'll leave you out with next week's episode. It is a show and tell. The third time that we are doing our auction attractions, and Matt, Hydra, and I will be here just talking about showing art from next week's the very auction that is happening next week. We'll be showing art that we just that caught our attention, that we like a lot, and yeah, we'll show it and talk about it. And so here we go. There are the gentlemen. And that's what we'll be doing next week on September 15th at the usual time. And yeah, I hope you guys show up as always. Really appreciate it. And to those of you who planning on bidding on anything at the Heritage Auction, I wish you the best of luck, all of you. All right, so thank you very, very much. And number one, Merle Fan Tom says, a lot of shows this week. So many haven't been showing up. I don't know what you mean by that. Maybe leave me a comment in the comment section and tell me what you mean. All right, thank you. And for the rest of you, yeah, thank you very much as well. And if I missed anybody, the chat was so busy. Tom, Nick will be back, but we've already rescheduled it, but it won't be until October. It'll be for October 13th. So it's already scheduled on my channel, but it'll be October 13th. Yeah. Yeah, so that's it, everybody. Thank you very much again. And I appreciate you. And as I was saying, sorry if I missed any of your questions, if I skipped over any comments that you really wanted me to address. Yeah, I'm sorry I missed it. It was a super, super busy chat. And yeah, exactly. Happy birthday. I already wished him a happy birthday in his cat gallery. But let's officially give a warm happy birthday to Lance Suarez. Very, very wonderful gentleman, and a great collector, and so nice to other collectors. So if you can catch him on his cat gallery, leave him a happy birthday wish. Why don't you? Oh, people in the chat. I don't know. It's pretty busy for me, though. Pretty busy for me. That's all I can say. Thanks, Tom. Yeah, shake on. Thanks, John. Appreciate it, bud. Later, 11/11. Make a wish. All right, guys. Thanks again. Appreciate you. And yeah, we'll catch you next week. Same time, same channel. Thanks again, and go blue.